And now, a word from our sponsors.
VonEsper Studios is a multimedia production company in the New York City area specializing in capturing your moments in the forms of audio, video, and photography content. VonEsper Studios Music is the audio production and songwriting division that can create the perfect song for your needs. This is an example of just that. Need a jingle to make you tingle? VonEsper Studios Music is ready to write the hits you need for your project. If you are a singer, performer, business owner, or podcast host, you need great tunes to entice your audience. Or maybe you just need a theme song for yourself. VonEsper Studios is ready to create something to suit your needs. VonEsper Studios is ready to score your car commercial.
Before we continue, I'd like to give a shout out, to raise my glass, to give a standing ovation to all the pets out there, to all the cats and dogs out there, to the tabbies, the golden retrievers. Y'all are some good boys. To those weird dogs with bad attitudes that like to bark at me whenever I walk past them, I see you big time. To all the cats on the street that let me come up to them and scratch their heads, you are very good. You're wonderful, actually. To all the kitties out there, the orange cats running all around, I owe you a car.
Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper, and I have a new single and music video called Going Nowhere Fast.
Going nowhere fast. Going nowhere fast. I don't know how long I'll last. Going nowhere fast.
From my new record, album, CD, Quarantine Dream, which you can get limited edition, hand-drawn cover versions of on my Bandcamp, vonesper.bandcamp.com. Anyways, Going Nowhere Fast. It's a harrowing tale of going slow in the fast lane of life and on the road. So, check it out somewhere over here and buy the record while it lasts on vonesper.bandcamp.com. See, that's me.
Imagine Alice Cooper with about 1/100th the money.
If the Cramps had been a heavy metal band.
Crazy as H, blood-splattered, ear-splitting hilarity.
The Wizard of Oz meets splatter horror films.
The gag is, you're in the splash zone.
You're covered with goo and blood, and if you're not completely soaked, you didn't have a haunted garage show.
It's like going to a horror movie, except it's actually happening.
It's basically walking into the most brutal, gory film right in front of your face.
It was probably the best part of my life.
I think of him as a guy with commitment to his art.
That's Dookie. I mean, he wants to take it as far as he can take it.
You gotta see this band.
Wait a minute, are you gonna get this?
Oh, thank you.
Oh no, why am I small? This always happens. There I am. Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper. Thanks for watching VonPod. Oh, I messed up the intro. Let me do it again. Take two. Cut. Hello, it's me, Kevin Vonesper. Welcome to VonPod. I don't know, whatever. Honestly, I'm stalling because our guest is late. Our awesome guest is back, RIN. I don't know what we're going to talk about. It's going to be totally interesting, though. So it's worth sticking around for. But in the meantime, I'm just going to talk about myself, okay? for one, I have a music video premiere tonight, and maybe that'll happen sooner than later. If I have to stall for more time. It's from my album, Quarantine Dream. Look, I'm going to show you every cover that's still available. They're all hand-drawn by me. And don't order it now, though. Go to vonesper.bandcamp.com and just keep it in your tab open. And then tomorrow or in a couple hours when it's Bandcamp Friday, then go purchase it, because then all the proceeds go directly to the artist, and the artist is me, and it's true DIY independent art. Aren't these beautiful? The new video features Imani Coppola, who probably nobody watching was born when her song Legend of a Cowgirl came out. Honestly, I missed it. I knew her because she was in a band called Peeping Tom with Mike Patton, who you might know better from Faith No More and Mr. Bungle and like 1,000 other bands. He was in the Dillinger Escape Plan for a minute, and Dead Cross and Phantomas. Oh man, that one's upside down. Whoa! Look, the CD is gonna come out like this. Whoa! There's stickers in here. Oh my God! There's extra stickers and there's an extra track. And I guess this one's number 0 because it's like a prototype. So if you want that one specifically, let me know. Hello, how are you? Let's get the chat up. Who's here? I know Katie Squid is here. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, Indira. Welcome to the show. Yeah, tomorrow is Bandcamp Friday. So go. Don't just support me, support all your favorite independent artists. Buckethead Land, go buy some Buckethead. Or Catbite just put out a new record, I think, or pre-ordering it or something. Get that. They were on the show. Who else was on this show who might have a Bandcamp Friday? Oh my God, probably everybody. Thank you. Yes, buy a copy tomorrow. I don't know if it starts at 12 Eastern time or like 3 a.m. Eastern time, midnight in Pacific time, but we'll see. Hello. Oh wow, an honor. Well, we're waiting for RIN. So let's see. I think maybe I'll just be playing my new music video for you right now. I know there's some technical difficulties happening, but trust me, it's happening and it's going to be super interesting. It always is. And we didn't have enough time last time. We did a 2-hour plus show, but we both had to go out to nightlife events. And so we actually kind of rushed the conversation. I think we could have talked for 5 hours. Not that I'm expecting to do that tonight, because it's probably better to break it up into pieces. Yeah, I'm gonna play my new music video. It's called I Got Up Today, and I'm gonna cue it up, and it features Imani Coppola, as I said, and it's really fun. I filmed some of it in this very room, and I hope nothing offends anyone out there. It's all in good fun, and there's a puppet. So all right, I want to shut up and play the video.
To see if I'm still real. Or was that yesterday? Is this beginning? Is this beginning? Is this beginning or the end? Is this beginning? Is this beginning?
I got to stop this. We're going to do this later, because not only has our guest arrived, but that was the wrong version of the video. I updated it since then, so I'm going to go have to find that. That's my bad on my preparation. Are you ready? Should we start? Good. I'm going to do the theme song then.
VonPod. Welcome to VonPod. I've got chicken heads and deli creeps
Scary monsters and super creeps on VonPod. You're listening to VonPod. With aliens and skunk dogs, I hope you're here to chat along to VonPod. Welcome to VonPod. You're listening to VonPod. You're watching VonPod. VonPod. Hello.
Hello! Finally, this started to work.
Good. Why? What was the problem? Technical
I
issues?
Yeah, because I don't use the webcam. The only time I've used this webcam was for VonPod. So I had to like try to figure out how to reinstall it, and then I had to like restart the whole computer pretty much. But I'm here. Can you guys hear me?
I
Okay.
can hear you if we get an indication from the chat. I know. See, this is our tech check. You're
Yeah.
watching the behind the scenes, the tech check. We got a couple people here. Katie Squid is here, and is this really
Oh
your
my god, my
mom?
mom's here. Yeah,
Uh-oh.
my
Do
mom.
we have to be good or what?
It's fine.
Okay.
Raise mom and mom. Don't say your full name. They're gonna dox you.
Oh no.
You need to come back with a different name.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah.
restart the show again.
Yeah. It's funny.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I just had a little job orientation earlier, so I'm in good spirits right now.
That's cool. Anything interesting? I mean, you know, I don't like to talk about my day job because it's boring and stupid.
Well, I'm hopefully working at the same place that I throw my goth nights at, which is going to be pretty exciting, I think.
Yeah, well, that sounds cool.
Yeah.
Which
Because
is
I know everybody there.
yeah, something we're going to talk about for sure. I don't know. Do you want to start there?
Yeah, we could start there. So I've had a full year of successful goth nights here in Buffalo, New York, which I'm ecstatic about. We had like one day that wasn't like particularly good, but it was due to some outside circumstances. But pretty consistently, we had our debut night, which was a huge blast. Everybody pulled through for that. We had the romantic night, which was a lot of
Is this the new one? No, that's
yes.
the one you're talking about right now.
That's our romantic night. And well, the goal for the first year was we were going to come up with all these themes because I wanted to get a gauge of like, what do the youth want from a goth night? Because there's all these subgenres and all these other like criterias for goth music, and to expose baby bats, that's something totally different.
Yeah, I'm going through my slideshow, but it's so
Oh,
small.
yeah.
But I'm like, is that the flyer?
All the flyers should be named Dance Tyrion.
Oh, I know, but yeah, that's a whole other thing. This is my slideshow, and then I have your Google Drive.
Oh, that makes sense. Yeah,
Which
yeah.
one's the one for this coming
I
up?
might actually hold on. So, with the help from my good friend Finn, who is a super young photographer and usual attendee, or he sometimes does like patches and stuff and pins and other goods as a vendor for Danceteria. He's a very young guy, and he took a bunch of these wonderful photos that I'm going to try and get to you. I only have them in the form of a zip folder. Yeah, they're not in the drive. They're like in a zip folder, but I just I'll have to drop them in. They'll probably be for like later in, but you could also just find them all on my Instagram too.
Yeah,
but our romantic night, for instance.
Go ahead.
No, you're okay. Our romantic night, for instance, that was like completely what I wanted was like a lot of stuff from the 90s, a lot of that kind of goth music that took a lot of inspiration from ethnic music, which I think that was a huge trend. I mean, it was always a trend since the start of goth, but I feel like a lot of that slower, like tribal sounding goth music, which I would dub as like more romantic-y, came around in the 90s and the 2000s, right? And that was the theme
of bands in that genre.
So I'm thinking of like, there's one maybe Die Laughing, but that's not the main band. There's like Miranda Sex Garden, I think, is what I'm
Oh,
thinking of.
yeah. I haven't
And
heard that
then
in a long time.
I would say maybe some Collide, if some people would constitute that as goth. I know some people are like, not.
I don't think Collide is goth music.
I wouldn't say that either.
We're more industrial rock.
Yeah, but they had some tracks where they take a lot of like this ethnic sound. There is one, Carol Tatum is what I'm thinking. There was this one album, they had these tracks like Dance Until You Forget, I think it's what it's called, or and then she had the point being that whole album that they did, it was very like they took a lot of pull from Arabic and South Asian music to make this very romantic sound, and that was like a musical trend at the time, which nobody really talks about.
That's why you're here.
Yes, that is
Talk about it.
It is true, and I mean, you saw elements of that with like Robert Smith did that, Susie Sue did that. There were some older bands where, you know, they take, I mean, the whole base of goth takes a lot of inspiration from ethnic music as a whole. There's the stuff that I know about with South Asian and Asian music specifically, because I think the core of goth is Orientalism, and a lot of people don't like talking about that. Maybe they don't like talking about it because they just don't know, or they don't think about it. It's
Yeah, I've never thought about it. So, like, enlighten me.
So,
I'm not an expert on goth. I just hang out in the scenes because they pay me to, and I like that. But
yeah,
I don't really listen to it at home too much. Like, just as a quick background, goth to me when I was growing up, I thought Typo Negative was goth, and I guess they kind of are. But then I heard like Sisters of Mercy and stuff, and I was like, oh, this is kind of like light. Like I was expecting something a lot heavier vibe. It's more like pop music, but like in a minor key, you know.
Yeah,
which is cool. I totally respect it and dance to it all the time now. But growing up, I was just like, I don't understand this. So I had the whole punk background, but the goth background, not so much.
Yeah, I think a lot of people go into goth with this idea that it's supposed to be like super heavy, just because of the look. And the truth is, a lot of goth, and people are gonna boo me and throw tomatoes and eggs at me for this, I think.
Let me get my tomato.
Yeah, I mean, my hair's already red. I look like a tomato.
I can throw a sticker at you.
Yeah, thanks. Ooh. I want to have my Monchichi on the show also.
It'd be so cool if the sticker just like came out the other end of the screen towards you.
Look at this. Isn't she cute?
What is your thing with monkeys? I know that we're already sidetracked. So
I know we're getting sidetracked.
That's fine. We'll come back to it.
The
SLC punk, where it's kind of like that, where it's all little pieces, but then they all kind of finally come together.
I just love monkeys. They're my favorite. Well, primates are my favorite animal or species ever. Humans are primates. Apes. I love like the great apes, especially. I love orangutans. I love any of these, like anything that is related to us. And I know it's a little guy. Katie Squid said it's a little guy. Anything that reminds us of our ancestry and of how far we come as an intelligent species or unintelligent species, some would say. I just love them. They're so cute. And my mom's called me a stinky monkey since I was born. So
it's our guest in the chat's fault.
It is.
Yeah.
This was a gift to me though, from my dear friend John. So this is a shout out. But
your feed is like punk, monkeys, and social justice.
I guess. I guess. I just do what I feel like makes sense. And if that turns out as social justice, then I guess I'm going in the right direction or something. But all that being said,
right as in correct, not right as in right. Just
yes,
to clarify.
right. Exactly. Not right wing.
Yeah.
I openly dismiss the right wing, and I'll just say it. Nazis are stupid, and if you can't say Nazis are stupid, then quite honestly, you're a retard. That's my stance.
Okay, yeah. Okay, now we're gonna get sidetracked onto this conversation. We'll get back to the goth music, but I saw your story where you said that and had a whole thing about it. Can you explain your So what words can we say or not say?
Well,
Not say, not see.
yeah. Well, the word retard is already reclaimed for me if people want to get into the logistics of it with me being neurodivergent. Like, if we really want to get into the nitty gritty, me saying it is me outwardly saying, like, look, they're
So
gonna
you
come
can
for
say it,
all
but
of
I can't
us.
say it.
I mean, it's all like it's all up
I
to
don't want to say it. Just to
That's
clarify,
fine.
I'm just asking.
Yeah. It's just like, look, the Nazis are going to come for all of us at this point. If you cannot openly say, like, first things first, like, our first priority is that Nazis are retarded. If you have to get into semantics about, like, well, that's not a good word, why I don't know if I can agree with you. Why can the left wing not firmly say, why can they not firmly say Nazis are bad? Why do we have to polish ourselves to be like, does that make sense? Like, why do we have to
I mean, just
punch ourselves down, ignore the main message? Because then we're never getting to the main message.
Yeah, no, totally. I as much as I disdain the right, I am not a big fan of the Democratic Party either. Left ideals, not everyone in government's pretty much trash. So that's like the whole separation of like the ideology versus the people who are supposed to represent that ideology. And I think the leaders of not going hard enough in the direction that you're talking about.
Yes, and I feel like if you, as anybody that says, not you specifically, but anybody that says that they are an activist and they can't get over the hurdle of like just saying Nazis are bad, you have to like, it's this mental block where leftists have to do this like, but can they say that word? Let me do a check.
And we can absolutely reject it. That's the point of free speech, is that you have to have people say stupid things so we can reject it and then comment back at them.
But that's the problem, where it's like a lot of left wingers they're more focused on cleansing the left wing to be a perfect mold than fighting the correct good fight of like, okay, we need to band together and we need to all objectively have the same opinion of this is bad, right? Yeah. Now let's do something about it. But instead what they want to do is like, oh, this is bad, but under my conditions. And that was the whole point of that video.
Right.
And I feel as though a lot of people just fell for it, where they're like, oh, but you said the bad word. Why do I have to prove to you, yeah, I can say that word if we're going to get into semantics? But even if somebody who can't say the word had said that message, I would still agree with them, because we're at a point right now in history where the semantics does not matter. You just need people to say, yeah, that's bad. We need to do something about it.
I think you need a t-shirt.
Look, isn't he great? Isn't she great?
Oh, that's also a t-shirt, but I meant just like Nazis are.
Oh yeah, probably, right? That would, I mean, also I'm all for like, I'm not like perfectly PC. Just because I can address these things, that doesn't mean I'm perfectly PC. And I think being PC is great for what it is, for addressing what we need to address. But we're not even there as a society where everybody needs to be PC. And honestly, that's where you get into a weird thought process of like, you end up becoming the thing you hate when you become too
I know.
PC.
That's why, I mean, I'm not saying this, but what has been said over the past few years about the right movement is like, that's the new punk rock. It's like freedom, man. Anything you want, chaos. And it's like, man, how did they become so exciting and we're like so lame? Not exciting in a good way. Like, we need to be exciting, equally as exciting, but like our own way. But like, no one's bringing that excitement, is what I'm saying. And I think that,
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that, so I come from like a weird political background, and I'm just going to openly talk about it, where like,
that's why I like talking to you.
Right. So there's a lot of people, especially like kids in my generation, Gen Z, a little bit younger, and then some a little bit older, who have this like, and you would think it's people who are older that have this idea, but it's actually the younger ones, where they're just like, internet bad, being online is bad. But like, I don't really think they understand the full scope of that. And so I grew up on the internet since I was 2 years old, and I
Right.
have always been on the internet.
That's what yeah, I'm a weird
And-
generation in between no internet and internet.
Yes. And I do know what it's like to just like not have internet as much, because like when I was 2, it was more of the Wild West and less like what it is now, if that makes sense. So
Well, it
I
was
wasn't always on
my
it.
brother going into BBS systems, if you know what that is, like before
Right. Yeah.
internet was
That's
like was like AOL or anything like that, you know.
That was like old school.
Yeah, like for the first few years, it was just text for us. Like, you had graphical internet, you were like balling.
Yeah, you had money and you were a nerd. Like
Yeah,
that was
both
also
combined, not one or the other, both combined.
Yeah, yes, exactly. You were rich and you were a nerd, which is like you got to pick a struggle at that point.
Yeah.
But so when I was really young, the internet was very much a manosphere, and I was very
Like 4chan and
early.
stuff.
Yeah, like I was like 8 years old, probably younger, and I was like inducted into these alt-right spaces without properly understanding what it was. To me, I was just like,
How did
technology
you
is
get
cool.
there? Or like what did you follow to find that hole?
I was just browsing. Like I love, and to this day I love like going scouring the internet looking for new things to read about, and music, art. I found out about like anime conventions, and I found out about like show going through the internet of all things, because there's something that people need to understand that don't have this reality. And I talk about this a lot, especially with other marginalized people, if you want to say. But there's two kinds of people who are on the internet by choice, as in they could live a normal day to day, but they are choosing to be on there and waste their money and like be a degenerate, whatever, right? And there's people who are on the internet not by choice. And that was my situation. I grew up on the internet because I didn't have the opportunity to have a regular childhood out and about. I was like, listen, Mom, I love you, but like,
Yeah, is mom listening? Does she know about this?
actually, yeah, we've talked about it,
Okay.
and we're aware, because it's
Yeah,
also
but-
it's equally my father's fault. You know what I mean? And circumstantial. Like, I did not have the opportunity to just like be in one city, have a group of childhood friends, and then form normal connections through that. No, I was traveling all the time. I had to learn how to I had to like forcibly have long distance friends, which means I have to be on the internet to talk to all my friends who are long distance. And so as a result, you just kind of like are browsing the internet a lot more than the average person, because you're trying to keep in touch with all these people. And to this day, I'm still like that. Like,
I can confirm. I fell into a chat once
Yeah.
where you were just talking to like 4 or 5 different people from like different countries and states, and I was doing something else. I was probably
Yeah.
during quarantine or something, so it was just like you just watch random shit as long as it's happening. And
Yeah.
that was interesting.
And I feel like it's a really I just wish people could use the internet for that, where it's like you're connecting, you're socializing, and you're fueling up on a natural human thing that you're missing out on if you don't have it. That's what I mean. Like, it's not, not by choice. Ray loved playing game online since they were 2 years old. Okay, my mom's gonna be like classic mom right now and tell
What
all my
games were
dirty
you
secrets.
playing?
I
Yes,
was
Mom,
playing
keep 'em
games.
coming.
Yeah, Mom, don't
Get your
do this.
40 out, Mom.
Not now. No, I used to play like Reader Rabbit and shit like that, and then I used to play like oh my god, I was just playing Nancy Drew. I was sober for a minute, and then we started the podcast, but
What, like just today, you mean? What do you
yeah.
mean? Did I break your sobriety?
A little bit.
What's
No, it's
Okay,
not like a
into that.
problem. But anyways,
How long
usually
were you sober? Like a day or like was it an extended period of time?
it was like 2 weeks probably.
Oh, okay.
Maybe. No, I can stay sober for a while if I want to. It's never a problem. But usually when I'm sober, I sit around. I'm starting to do my nerd stuff. So like, I was playing a bunch of these old Nancy Drew games, and I'm sure some people might know what those are. Those games are not easy. I don't know how I was playing them as a kid. all that being said, internet.
Yeah. So
And
how did you get? Yeah, you got into these. So what do you mean when you said you found the or was indoctrinated into these alt-right spaces? Like what does that mean?
so I mean, the unfortunate truth is a lot of these like right-wing guys, right? They see like somebody who's like mildly Asian and also underage, and they get excited about that. And that's back when I had like straight bangs and like the whole like I wasn't decked out, right?
Right.
But yeah, those kinds of guys like were like crazy about my existence on the internet and knowing their kind of humor. And so, you know, as a result, they would try to get on my side, and then they would talk about politics, and it would be like, you know, inducting me into their fucking ideology. And so it would be a lot of like these weird conversations around race and religion and all this stuff. And unfortunately, I was like really savvy to all of that and like just politically very confused because like I didn't really believe in what they said, but then I had this insight to it. But well, I
That's
had a
what I was
point.
gonna say. Like, did you were you agreeing with them or you were just listening to them?
I think I was like listening to them and like agreeing just so I could have like a close knit circle of friends.
Right.
And then around the time where I was like 9-ish, I would say, is when I kind of like had that like this isn't normal. Like I don't think like people were telling me like no, that's like not a normal opinion to have. And I started like slowly and gradually trying to like undo that and like become a normal person. And I think that's why I got voted most changed for like the high school yearbook thing. Because I used to have some pretty extremo, like offensive. I had a very offensive 4chan-y personality when I was like a single digit age, which is like that's. I feel like that for me is how I'm like, yeah, the left wing kind of needs to get a little more offensive in the more educated or the smarter way.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was trying to say before. Like, we need that same kind of excitement and fire and crassness if it needs to be, you know, to combat this, because it's weird that everyone's just kind of passive. I mean, not everybody, but like the leaders are pretty passive about it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what I think it is
Nazis are bad. I mean, let's just start there. If you can't say that,
and if
then
you
what
have
are we
to
talking
argue,
about?
if you have to
Everything
argue
else?
semantics all the time and then argue, like I hate when people have like oppression wars, and I've been like, you know, I've had my hand in that too growing up on the internet, right? But like, I don't know, man. We just need to like, we need to focus on what the problem is, work on that, and then we can get into all the nitty gritty semantics as we want. But like, Nazis are bad. And if you talk to people in real life, you will realize that that language, like, again, this is going back to my past, but even outside of my past, right? Which is like, again, that's like when I'm a literal child. Just people in day to day use that language, and it's. I feel like if you need to discern when something is intentionally offensive and when it isn't.
Right.
And there's a lot of like, you know, you don't have to be perfectly PC as long as your heart's in the right place for the right things. Does that mean people should start throwing around the N-bomb? No, dude. I feel like there's always a line to be crossed, right?
Right.
There's some like definite words you don't fucking say. But like, dude, if somebody says the word fag to me or retard, I'm not going to be up in arms about it unless they're really using it in such a hateful way. Because the other thing is, who am I to decide, like, dude, I don't know if this person's also, like, gay or something. I don't know if this guy's diagnosed autistic. Like, that's where the left wing, like, fails, is, like, they're very quick to be like, hey, don't do this thing. But then at the same time, they want people to be like, don't assume other people's things. You can't have it both ways.
Well, hey, Elon Musk is neurodivergent or autistic or whatever.
I mean,
is that an excuse for anything?
Holy shit. Well, Elon Musk is a whole can of worms where he just needs to get shot. Like, just flat out. Like,
man, we are shut down right now.
He needs to.
Just to clarify, nobody here is threatening personal
It's a
violence.
joke, guys.
Yeah. But, yeah.
It's a joke.
So, how's Luigi?
Oh my god, yeah, Luigi.
What? Yeah, I mean that we don't have.
Yeah, that's
It's on
like
the same wavelength. Is all I'm saying.
right. Yeah. I'm gonna see if I can try to get you these goth night pictures also because
Yeah, I have some. Okay, yeah. Let's go back to this. Let's. Wait. What did I do?
all right, let's
I had updated my
make
slideshow.
a
I don't know.
copy. Yeah, so Danceteria. I mean, yeah, we can
Yeah.
hop back on Danceteria.
Yeah, so tell me, we were talking about goth music in the 90s. Oh yeah, so okay. What do the kids want in a goth night? Did you find out?
Yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. Thank you, the youth in Buffalo. You guys were great in figuring out that, you know, they just want like classic goth nights and they don't want just like dark wave. I mean, sure, they'll be happy with dark wave because at least somebody's playing it, but they really want death rock. And I was ecstatic to hear about that.
Like
a lot of
classic
them
80s death rock?
Oh yeah, people want like that they just want like classic traditional music and I'm just like, dude, yeah, hell yeah, let's do that.
Is
I
this
mean,
it?
this is our most recent night. Shout out. This is on the 13th of this month.
Right, so
And
next week.
yes, and I'm very excited to say that we have a new DJ that's been wanting to DJ for a while, and she's great. She's come to like every single goth night except for one because she was sick for one, I think. And so now she's finally like, oh, I want to DJ. And she knows her stuff. If there's anybody that you'd ever want on your show, like K-Night, DJ K-Night, I hope I'm saying that right. Really knows her stuff on goth. Super young, too. Second youngest DJ that we have here. Because our first youngest DJ is Grace, who is only 19. 19 or 20, I believe. And we have Melpire and Osiris. These are our usual DJs, and they frequently do a bunch of goth nights here. DJ Melpire is fantastic. If you want to if you guys want to give her a follow, she does all kinds of events. She's doing I think she's DJing for the next Buffalo Horror Garage Sale, which is like, you know, it's just like a get together of vendors and art market kind of thing. Yeah. But she does all kinds of stuff. She DJ'd for the Syracuse scene for Dominion. Fantastic, by the way. They also started around the same time that Danceteria started, but they're more larger scale. And they've had like Corrine play, they've had Riki play. They do these like larger scale, like real like club goth nights, and they're fantastic. Like they've always been fantastic. And
you got any bands at Danceteria?
Yeah, so this Danceteria, we actually do have a band. We have Academy Order, who has played Buffalo, I believe, 3 times now. And they are now written into they're on a label now, but they will continue to play. They will continue to play the small DIY stuff that I book, which is fantastic, despite them being on a label, because there's some bands that just like they have to do these larger scale things. Mm-hmm. My mission for Danceteria has always been sticking to the roots of goth, which also means booking goth and punk bands. So we have Bite Mark, which is a Riot Girl band started by some of my friends, and they're great. I'm really excited about that. We were going to have another band play, Razorface, but they unfortunately cannot because they had some obligations.
That's on a different night?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll have Razorface on for another night. They're a great...
all these bands are playing different events. Different Danceterias.
Academy Order and Bite Mark are playing the same night.
Okay, gotcha.
Bite Mark is opening for Academy Order.
Oh yes, I do see the name.
Yeah.
Now. Okay, yeah.
Shout out. Razorface is great. They're kind of like a DBD, crusty kind of band, but I would love to have them for Danceteria one of these days. We did also have, it was outside of a Danceteria event. It was, I got Academy Order to hop on a bill that played with some hardcore bands, and then there was some of like the gothy post-punk stuff, and it was a great mix-up with our friends Mason and Johnny. And those two guys are great. They're definitely holding up the Buffalo sphere. Johnny especially. Mason is he's a good kid. He likes all this kind of stuff too, the gothy stuff. So it's much appreciated that they're helping contribute to my endeavors in some way.
Yeah, so it's funny. Last time we talked here, you were just starting this night.
Yes,
I don't think the first one had happened yet. So
yes.
Has it survived the whole time, or did it go on and off, or what's the story?
It has survived the whole time. There was only one night that didn't do so hot, and that was because, so apparently on Sundays, Buffalo is like completely dead, and I didn't know that, and we booked on a Sunday. On top of that, there was a flu going around, so a lot of people were sick, and I guess I just didn't promote it very well. And that was the first danceteria that we had a band on the bill as well, Spectra Bodies, and I was very excited about that. They were great, amazing. And my friend Christy had DJ'd all the way from Syracuse. But the people that did show up, we still had a great time.
Yeah, I know Christy.
Oh, yeah. We still had a great time regardless. It was a shame that people had to miss that one. There was also like a bigger show that was booked that night. But
Who
we've
was
since for the other show.
Yeah.
I think that was it wasn't the Subhuman show. That I think that was the romantic. If I'm not
Subhumans are still playing?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They're still playing. They're pretty good too.
No, I saw them once, I think. Yeah. I saw them once, at least once.
But I'm blanking on who was playing that night. It might have been a guerrilla warfare show, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Which is chat. Yeah, I don't know. But the guerrilla warfare projects the shows have been really cool. That's been held up by Lucas, Adria, and company from Razorface, the more punk side of Buffalo. And those are good people. I would definitely check out their project for sure. And
it's a cool name.
It is, yeah, no, they're great people. What else am I gonna say? But yeah, Danceteria has been like a success, I would say, because outside of that one night, people came for the next ones, and then our Cyber Golf night was pretty good too. We had a lot of my friends coming in for that one because it was my birthday, and we had a lot of
I almost came
New York City. Yeah, you almost came, but we were having difficulties with like housing everybody basically.
Yeah, right, that's fine. I probably wasn't going to be able to make it anyways, but yeah, it's a bummer. I want to come to like a goth night. I don't want to come to a cyber night.
Well, the next one we're doing is a goth night. Like just a pure the first year I wanted these themes to test the waters and see what people liked the most.
Right.
And then I knew for the second year of these, I was just going to do like straight cut, like these are goth nights. We're going to be spinning goth rock, post-punk, death rock, Batcave, and then if like maybe we'll mix in EBM, maybe we'll do industrial, but those would be resigned for like specific DJs and specific nights where maybe we'll do a theme, like maybe bi-monthly or tri-monthly kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I mean, my goal is I want to start booking bands for these. I don't want to continue just doing DJ nights. And that is because I think the state of the goth scene as it is now is DJs.
Mm-hmm.
And the bands that play, they start small, sure, and they'll do DIY for a little bit, and then they'll go to these DJ nights. But they're all signed to these labels, and they're only going to do these like big outcome events. And that's just like not feasible to sustain the scene, I think. So I really want to go like grassroots with it, where I want like, okay, if we're going to do a fucking goth show, I want to book bands, and I want them to be really goth rock. I'll book some other bands, like maybe solo projects and these dark wave stuff. Yeah, sure. But I want goth rock, solid goth rock, and I'm gonna book punk bands on top of that because that's how they did it back in the 80s.
Yeah.
And I think if
goth scene came from.
Exactly. And I feel like if people have to keep separating these things, we're not gonna go anywhere. And I think that more people should be, cognizant of the fact that goth stems from punk and cannot exist without it. And it's not just like, DJs playing all our favorite songs from the 80s, we can really like actually build on that. And it's also not just post-punk. It's not just, you know, the Chameleons or the Sound. Like, we have bands like Anti-World back then. We had like just the Damned, like their one album, the TSOL's one album. We'd fucking, I mean, my favorite, like Cemetery and Specimen, Alien Sex Fiend, all of these, like,
Yeah.
do they sound like Darkwave? They don't sound like Darkwave at all. And they're staples in the goth subculture. So you're telling me in 2025, 2024, like, we can't do this too?
Yeah,
You know?
do it. I mean,
I
our
will
scene is a scene, right?
we are in the process of starting a band. I will tell you that.
Okay,
And
that's my
good
next
news.
question. What is Raksasa? Is that your band?
So
And
I
I
feel like
probably
if I
totally butchered the name, right?
well, I feel like if I pronounce it on stream, then everybody's gonna know. But
Well, isn't
I'll,
that the
I'll
point?
say it. I don't want anyone to know how you actually pronounce it.
Oh.
I kind of wanted it to just be like, if you know, you know. But it's pronounced Raksas, and it's the Nepali word for like demon or like blood-sucking vampire. And
Why do you have
it's
0 posts?
because I don't have anything yet to compile for us, and I want to post when I know we have like a solid few tracks.
Tell me about it. Who, like, how many people are involved? What's your genre? What are you doing?
So,
What's the progress?
It's
Have you-
gonna be
all that stuff.
violent. Yeah, it's gonna be just like violent goth music. I mean, it's gonna be straight up grassroots death rock. I want it to be punky goth, and in order for that, my dream for that to happen, I enlisted the help of a bunch of punks, and I'm like, okay, you guys are gonna play goth now. I didn't want people that already knew how to play goth. I wanted just punk straight up, and I'm just gonna tell them like, dude, you're gonna do this, you're gonna do this, and hopefully it goes from there.
So are you writing all the songs, or like, do you play instruments?
And not really anymore.
Not anymore.
I could learn on the spot probably. I used to do keys, like I used to do piano, and I knew how to play violin. I was pretty good at violin, and I played saxophone for a little bit. Not a lot though. I've been wanting to learn bass, and I tried to learn guitar, but truthfully I had a really shitty one and not the environment to learn it, so I can never actually practice. Dad always wanted me to learn drums though. That being said, I do know how to do vocals.
So you're
So
gonna be a singer.
I do know how to sing, and that was the thing I practiced the most at growing up. So I am excited for the project. We have some really good people in the band. We have Steve on drums from Science Man. We have Solstice from Bite Mark. We have Kevin from K-Hole, which is I mentioned Bite Mark earlier, so they're going to be playing.
Yeah.
Yes. And Kevin from K-Hole. K-Hole is like a punk band out here. Pretty good. They're really good. And Science Man, honestly, in my opinion, guys, don't get offended, I think it's probably one of the best hardcore punk bands in Buffalo. So I'm really excited. I feel like, especially with Steve being older than all of us, has really been like a great like grounding force in like, okay, this is what we got to figure out. But yeah, I mean, it's the stuff that we've been like jamming to so far has been pretty good. So I'm pretty excited. It's just a matter of
Or
like,
are there songs, or?
I want us to get like a solid, like, yes, this is a song and we're going to, like I want a few songs before I start posting on that account. I don't want us to be like,
do you have any songs yet?
I mean, I'm not going to say anything yet.
Oh, what a
I'm not going to say
tease.
anything yet. I'm not going to say anything yet.
Let's hear Science Man. Is this the band?
This is Science Man. Yes, they're
Oh,
great.
yeah.
Local rippers.
It's Cat Friday in a couple hours, so go support your favorite local DIY independent artist.
I have no idea what you're saying.
Aww.
Because of
I'm just
Science
gonna
Man.
rock out. All right, I don't think there's a volume on Bandcamp, unfortunately. Otherwise, I'd lower it and put it in the background. I said in a few hours it's Bandcamp Friday, and that's when you should support all
Oh,
your
okay.
favorite independent DIY artists, including myself. Shameless plug
There
again.
you
Well,
go. Look at this.
I think there's only one person left, and you already heard this. But yes, my album, Quarantine Dream, go get it tomorrow
Look
on
at
Bandcamp.
that.
Every cover is hand drawn. I'm doing my spiel again because look at all these CDs I have left. Man, you guys don't buy shit anymore. But
Go buy
pay
Kevin's
for some
stuff.
music. Yeah, and then not just me, but all your other, get your Science Man stuff or whatever. Let's see, Science
Oh
Man
yeah.
has some patches and vinyl.
They got a lot of stuff.
Well, no, it's all sold out, but they have T-shirts and patches. So go get your Science Man T-shirts and patches.
Exactly. And Razorface, get your Razorface stuff.
Yeah,
Because
Razor.
they just started out, and those guys are all great people.
Sweet.
And they're on the younger side of the scene out in Buffalo. So it's good to see that there are people out here that really care deeply enough. I mean, Kami is a dear friend of mine. I love her to death. And Lucas had just started screen printing, and so now he's screen printing all of his stuff. So like they're DIY as fuck, and fucking Adria is great, Gavin's great, everybody in that band's great. Olivia.
Nice.
So
are there goth bands in Buffalo or just punk bands?
Not really.
Not
I mean, there's a few. There are a few. There's one that I've been dying to book, and their name is escaping me right now. I'm so sorry, you guys. But they're like a death rock kind of spookier band, and I mean that's exactly what I want, and because nobody's really booking them because there was no demand for goth prior to like us like really like spearheading that. So I'm hoping to get them for Dance Terror pretty soon. I've been in connection with them and talking about that stuff. And then Biff's side project, Spooky Visions, which is kind of like a solo kind of synthy punk sound, but it could definitely go fit into that kind of goth world too. In terms of supporting our small bands, I will say the band that's really like inspired our band, Roxas, has been Anasazi. And there's some people who will be like, oh, dude, yeah, I remember Anasazi. I saw
that sounds very familiar.
It's one of Chai's project from Blue Anxiety.
I don't know what that is.
Do you know Blue Anxiety?
No, I guess not.
Great. They're great too. I've talked to them
I kind of
about
missed music in the past 20 years.
That's fair.
I don't know what's happening. I know what's happening if they're playing any parties that I'm working at. So I've seen every fucking 2-person industrial band in the world 3 times.
So sorry. I'm so sorry.
And a couple goth bands here and there. And but only if they come to New York and they play on a stage that I am in the room for.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, Anasazi's great. They're very short-lived because of falling outs, but that sound was like exactly what I wanted from goth for the longest time, because it's like totally dead now. I mean, aside from like there are some bands out there that are doing it, but they're so like unheard of. Like I love New Skeletal Faces, I love Otzi, I love it's another. I mean, Rose Garden Funeral Party is also a great one.
I mean, yeah.
They're great. They're not like really the violent type, but they sound
like
solid.
Yeah, no, I love their records are okay, but Leah's energy on stage is what does it for me. Not just on stage, off stage too. She's nuts, like in a good way. Like just being in a room with her and you're like, whoa.
Well, she's a vocal powerhouse.
Oh yeah, and the way she's like throws her guitar around and like that's the energy I want. Mm-hmm. But you're right, I want it to be more aggressive, like
let's bring back.
They should do something different, but like I'm looking for like excitement and desperation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's exactly what I would like to do. I want to bring that kind of energy to not just like Buffalo, just like to now, like the modern day.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we can only have
that. It's like kind of watered down most of the time.
We can only have so much. Yeah, we can only have so much of like
Yeah.
the same old dark wavy, cold wavy, like
Um,
the same old like here's a beat and then they're
Yeah.
like, I'm dead. I
Right.
wanna go to the rave. I
Yeah.
wanna
Death
dance.
rock to me is always going to
Like,
be 45 Grave and Christian Death, you know.
oh yeah, I fucking
And
love
45 Grave, like they're mostly just a punk band with spooky image. So that's like that's what I dig.
Well, that's why I like Academy Order, who I keep keep booking because I asked them like, "Yo, what's your genre?" Like, you keep getting booked with all these like goth stuff. So I thought, set on your Bandcamp or something that you're dark. I'm sorry, death rock. And then Matthew looks at me, he's like, "We're a punk band. We're just like a punk band. But I mean, if people want us to play goth stuff, we'll do it." And I'm like,
No, do what you want to
that
do.
I love that though. I love that he's just outwardly like, yeah, we're a punk band, but we'll still do this thing. I think
What
that's
do I listen
great.
to?
Let's see. I think they just came out with something new recently.
Let's see. Yes.
I could be wrong.
Let's check it
A
out.
New Kind of Fear. I love. I think what. Death in the American South. Is that what I'm thinking of? Oh, Death in the Mid-Atlantic. Death in the American South. Yeah. Oh, there is Death in the American South, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Both are true.
I didn't realize this too. They're both good. I do love Death of the American South and The Devil Spoke. Those are the songs that I discovered them off of. And I was like, I wonder if I could just like book these guys. And I did. I pirated their music. That's how I found them. I'm sorry.
Go buy it on Bandcamp on Bandcamp Friday.
Yeah, please support them. They're great live. They're absolutely great live.
All right. Do they have a live drummer?
They do. I would like skip ahead in that song.
Yeah.
Further on, it's great. Yeah, they do have a live drummer now. They've actually asked me like, should we have a live drummer? Should we have like a
always?
Yeah, I like them because you can tell that they come from more of a punk and a hardcore background.
Yeah, there's definitely energy there.
Yeah, and there's always that joke, right? Like, oh, hardcore guy starts a goth band, right? But I think that they sound unique in the sense of they're not doing the Boy Harsher thing. They don't sound like a Boy Harsher ripoff. They don't sound like She Passed Away ripoff. They just kind of sound natural and they have energy. And that's what I really like to see from the scene right now. And I feel like, that's all happening
Energy,
in LA.
guys. That's what I'm looking for. Everything's so watered down these days. Even like extreme types of music seems watered down, just in like the production all sounding the same and everything. Like I want something like, I don't know. It's hard to explain. What I'm creating right now with my group pop version, which is really just me right now, that's what I'm looking for in other people's music. Just unique sounds and energy and desperation, and I don't hear it that much.
Oh no, I agree. And like, especially like, again, we can have so many ultra sun sounding bands, and I think everyone can agree that we're kind of tired of ultra sun and the whole like trying to sound 80s but not putting their all into it. Because Nuevo Testamento, I love Nuevo Testamento. They're fucking great because they sound 80s, but they put their all into it. They really go out on that sound.
You know why 80s music was cool though? Like even 80s sounding bands from the 80s, like Duran Duran even, or if you try to actually play, like people think it's just simple, keyboard rip and like simple drum beat, but no, those bands were actually really progressive if you listen to the music. And that's what's missing is the intricacies. Did I say that word correctly?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. Yeah, and that's true in pop music too. Like, I forget that pop artist who, like The Weeknd or whatever. It's just like, okay, this is like sounds like an '80s song, but it's missing.
Yeah.
That
layers.
Lauren Cucurullo playing drums and like, or no, he's the guitar player, right? No.
Well, it's missing like that like nastiness.
Yeah.
I think people forget. Well, people look at the '80s through this like romanticized lens, thinking that it was a lot cleaner than it was. But the '80s were gross. Like the '80s were gross.
Rillo is the guitar player I was thinking of. I'm thinking of Dale Bazio. Missing Persons. Like some of the best drummers in the world were in like '80s pop bands, and you don't hear that anymore.
And I mean, going back to Dance Terry, that's why I named Dance Terry because it's in reference to the '80s club that existed in New York
Yes,
City.
we talked about this last time.
Yes, yeah, and like that's what I want.
That was the club in New York. Now I'm old, but I'm not that old, so I missed that era of New York. But that's where, like, you know, a punk band could be playing and Madonna would show up at the club.
Yes,
you know?
that is exactly what it is.
And that's awesome. Madonna was in a punk band.
Yeah, and also that would be like the afters for a lot of like hardcore shows.
Right.
Like they'd do like a hardcore show, and then they would go over there as the afters, and like that kind of like I guess you could say unity, like scene unity. Like I really wish we could have that back again instead of like people being such hoity-toity up in their own asses about like, oh, I don't really like goth music. It's like all the same, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up. You don't even know what you're talking about.
All right. Well, I want to talk about a punk show that you went to. And
which one is that?
Can we do a little video commentary?
Sure.
Okay. I'll play it, and then I might play it frame by frame, because it's quick. And there's different angles.
I feel like I know what this is.
I think you have to know what this is.
Oh boy. Okay, yeah. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, the New Year's Eve show.
Yeah, that's why you didn't come to the party I was working at.
Yes,
Which is fair. I was like, oh, I kind of wish I was there.
Dude, that shit was awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna say where that was, you know.
Right.
But it was a New Year's Eve show. I was taking a whole trip, so I came down from Buffalo. I took like a 9-hour bus down to New York City.
That's crazy.
Hung out with some friends. Then from there, I was supposed to go to Jersey, but because of like financial issues and like ticketing issues, I couldn't get to Jersey, and I was real bummed about that. So I went straight down to Philly, hung around Philly with some friends. Then from there, took another like 2-hour bus down to New York City again for New Year's, hung out with a bunch of my friends, and that was honestly one of the best shows I've been to. And I went to the Sonic drive-through show that happened in Jersey too. So I was like, damn, bro, this tops that. That show was good too. But yeah, no, I just saw that there was like, first of all, I was like out of my gourd that night. Like I was like on a bender as soon as I got to New York City, and then was doing all that traveling. So once I got down to that show, I was like, I need to do some fucked shit today. And I saw that there were like people climbing up the thing, and I was like, okay, we're gonna do some fuck shit. Luckily though, and I don't advise anyone doing this. I mean, do whatever you want, you know, it's punk, do whatever you want. But the thing that people don't know in that video is I was like up there, and I motioned to my friend Archie, and I was like, come on, because we came with a little group, a little small group, and I was like, get everyone right there. So I had a bunch of friends that were just waiting for me.
One of my questions is like, did they know that was happening? Because you could have seriously hurt somebody or yourself.
Only my friends. Only my friends knew. And so those pockets of people came down there, and I guess they kind of signaled to other people. And I tried signaling. I looked down at the crowd, and I was like this. So, and then I just jumped. And my biggest mistake is I went feet first. Guys, don't jump feet first.
Yeah, that could have really kicked someone in the head. But did you hurt anybody? Look at
So I landed on my friend who's recording, right?
So what? And he didn't even drop his phone?
They have like I think they wear it on either like they hold it in their mouth or
Oh.
on their head sometimes. That's what they
Okay.
do. They film shows, and apparently I like decked them right here on their
Ugh.
chest. If that was anybody else, because that guy they're built like a tank.
Okay.
If that was anybody else, I'd feel real bad about it. But they took it like a champ, and then I didn't suffer any injury at all. I was totally fine when I came down, so that's why I ran right
Were you
back in.
sore the next day?
Yeah, not really. Actually,
No?
I was pretty okay. I was
Wow.
pretty okay. I was more so like not quite hungover, but more fucked up from all the fucking, like the other consequences of my actions.
Did you know this person was filming, or did this come later?
No, I had no idea. Actually, so after the show, hung out with my friends. Then I kind of like had to split ties, and then I went to a bar with some of my other friends. I go to that bar, and this guy goes up to me and he's like, "You're the guy that jumped. You're the guy that jumped on New Year's Eve." And
This was a different night.
This was like I think that night.
Okay.
Right after. But every time I go to New York City now, like when I go to New York City, there's some people like within the scene. They're like, "Are you the person that jumped?" Actually, wait, not even in New York City, but this was in Syracuse. Vaccine, and then what was it? Vaccine, War Lovers, and some other bands were playing. And I had gone up there. I was really excited because I've been meaning to like see Vaccine around here for a while. And Anya goes up to me and she's like, "Are you the person that jumped?" And I was like, "Fuck, dude." Yeah, I was the person that jumped, and we had a whole talk about that. I love Anya. Anya is super, super engaging in conversation, super intellectual. Shout out to her. Just a joy to be around.
Vaccine?
She's in Vaccine, yeah.
I don't know them. That's going to be a little harder to Google.
They have a Bandcamp, I'm pretty sure. I know they have a Spotify.
Vaccine, not the vaccines. Vaccine.
Yeah, I know. I think they
From Massachusetts.
From Massachusetts? Are they from
No.
Massachusetts? I'm pretty sure they're from New York City.
Oh.
Vaccine.
Did you recognize their logo?
I do.
Let's see. Is this them?
Oh, it's gonna be Vaccine with an X.
Oh, VAXX?
No, VAXINE.
I see.
It's the second one.
Oh. Really? There's more than one vaccine?
I guess so.
This is not them from New York?
That is them.
Yeah,
that is them.
Okay. Let's check it out.
That's their new stuff that came out last year, I think.
I want to hear it.
Oh. It's just some good, like, street fun. Hardcore-y street fun. Which, like...
It's pretty punk.
It's good. I do kind of like Frontal Lobotomy. I think that's their most recent thing that they came out with. And
I followed them. Go buy it on Bandcamp Friday in a couple hours.
Those guys are in all kinds of projects prior to that too. I'm kind of like a silent stalker of people, and they don't know. People don't know.
Watching those now.
Oh, that's fine.
I'm not sure.
I think they kind of know now since they've met me, but like,
yeah.
In terms of a lot of things, I'm kind of a silent stalker. Like I'll be following a project for a really long time, and then I won't talk about it until I get the chance to like see them, or like I'm giving a recommendation. But it's a lot of me when I go to places. It's a lot of a situation of like, oh, I know about you, you don't know about me, but I know about you. Like,
now they know you're the jumper.
yeah. Unfortunately, now people know that I'm the New Year's Eve jumper.
But they should know you from your band, which doesn't have any songs yet, but they will.
Wow, we have a pretty good jam, but I'm not gonna share anything yet.
Is there a timeline you think for music coming out, or even developing?
Yes,
like every week, or what's your routine?
Well, Steve's usually pretty busy because he's in a few other projects, right? He's like, he's in Science Band and then a few others. But it's just a matter of us getting some music like fully solidified and like practiced. Yeah, I mean that's all I'm gonna say on that.
Are you dictating?
I do.
Are you like Jello Biafra who can't play an instrument? He's like, but play this.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
I'm literally the talentless hack. I just have a very strong vision for,
Well, you have
for what I
lyrics,
want.
though, right? Do you have lyrics that you want to attach to this project specifically?
I do have a few lyrics, and I can write on the spot. There are some other I suffer the curse of moving a lot, and because of that, I can never like stick. I think I talked on that. Like I moved a lot in my growing up, even in my adulthood. Like it's very hard for me to start projects because I'm gonna move in like a year or so because of money or finances and like personal problems, But I'm hoping that I stay in Buffalo long enough for this to at least like get the ball rolling. And the goal with Danceteria was to get like kids to start their own band and like get something going. But I recognize like, right. And so I recognize like, okay, it's getting people to DJ, which is awesome. I love that. But if nobody's starting a band yet, that I can book. So I'm like, okay, I might as well just start something here and then see where it goes from there. And if it comes down to it and I have to move again, like, I mean, we're all adults. We'll figure something out. I can start the project again somewhere else. Try to keep in contact with the people that are on it already. We have technology,
Yeah. Do you have home recording capabilities?
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I mean,
You have that headset microphone, I see.
I do, but this sucks. I mean, worst comes to worst, my phone is my best recorder. Like, I have a lot of stuff recorded on this guy. So.
Well, I'm asking for myself, not for you. That's a different conversation.
Your phone.
I'm looking for collaborators.
Well, phones have really good, like, high definition recording quality if you use it in the right setting.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm like looking at. I had some notes, but like we haven't really done any of that.
Yeah.
That's not true. I talked about your band and the video commentary. Oh yeah, I wanted to say last time we were talking about going to see or not going to see bands or shows that were above a price range, but asterisk, unless they're old and they might die soon. And I gotta say, we were talking about seeing The Damned, and I think both of us missed it, and one of the original members died today.
Yeah, I saw that, and I was really bummed. I was so bummed about that. Rest in peace. I mean, God, Dave is still around. Thank God.
I've seen them several times, but not the original lineup.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Was he in the? Yeah, was he? Who died today? The bass player.
Bass player, I think.
Yeah, because, yeah.
No, is it?
Those old punk bands, you don't know how long they're gonna last.
Yeah, that's the whole thing with all these, like.
Go see young punk bands because you don't know how long they're gonna last.
A lot of those like ABC bands, where it's just like. Yeah, sure. It's not like the most cutting edge, like hard thing out there, but like you might as well see it, especially like if you haven't yet or X, Y, and Z reason, because you don't know how long they're going to be around for. And then you're going to be bummed when you miss it. Yeah. I mean, I was really bummed when fucking Atsushi Sakurai died. Rest in peace, man. Like, I always wanted to see Bucktick.
I don't know what that is.
They're a Japanese, like, post-punk band. I would say kind of a gothy post-punk band, but Sakurai has an outside project that's a lot more goth, but he's the father of Visual K. And I was so bummed. I was so bummed when he died. Like, him, and then, what am I thinking? Issei from Der Zabet. I was so bummed when both of them died around the same time. Because now I can't see either of those bands. I can't see them, like, in their, like, full fruition. It's going to be, like, a different vocalist. That's really sucky.
Yeah. Crossed that off the list. I was like, damn, that happened today, and we talked about that last time.
Yeah.
It's fucked up, man. Um, you know what I okay. You know what I started watching, and I haven't
What?
finished it yet, and I'll probably finish it tonight. Finally, because we talked about this too, is The Decline 3.
Oh, you finally saw it.
Well, I've owned it for a long time, and it keeps coming up in conversations, and I'm just like, yeah, everyone says it's really sad, and I just like I'm never up for that, and I don't know. I'm finally watching it. That's my news, and I feel like
What
I've
do you think?
started watching it before. It's cool. Um, I like that she kept the style from the first movie to kind of like bridge the aesthetics, you know.
It's sad, that one, that new one.
Well, I'm in the middle of it. I don't know what happens at the end, but yeah, the bands are pretty cool to watch, you know.
Yeah, that one's pretty sad. I always like the third one because I like seeing the second wave of any subculture.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound dorky, but I love seeing the
He's
second wave.
dorky.
Yeah, I love seeing the second wave of any subculture because that's when people are like really like, we have a name. This is the name of the subculture, and we're gonna go in 10 times harder. And then you know, at the time, people are like, this is so like a copy of so and so. This is so and so and so. But like 10, 30 years later, people were like, dude, the second wave is the best wave.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
Do
the
you
first
think
wave.
so? Like the '90s wave?
I mean, the first wave is always going to be the best, right? The best, right? Because it's the foundations. You need the foundations in order to make the second wave. But I think second wave of any movement is going to be fantastic because that's A, when people get a name for what they're doing, and B, they get a sound. So like they understand what the sound is and they understand what the layout is, and they are the reason the shitty third wave has to happen. And then from there on out, everybody knows this is what it is. Without the second wave, you can't have the culture as a whole, whether that's goth, whether that's metal, whether that's industrial, whether that's punk. You cannot have a successful scene 40 years in the making without the second wave of it.
Yeah, it's definitely a good document, and it's kind of cool that I don't know any of the bands in it really. Like they're not popular bands or anything.
Wait, really? I mean, I
Not
feel like
really.
what,
Who
like Naked
is?
Aggression
I've heard
played
the name, but I
the
couldn't
third one?
song. Like all the bands in the well, most of the bands in the first one, it's like, well, I know the catalog, you know, but
Yeah.
it's like, well, I've heard of Naked Aggression, but I don't like okay. If we're talking about the style
I think Black Flag played in that too.
in this one,
Yeah, didn't they play in the third one?
or on the first.
I think so. They were getting booed for saying fag or something.
No, that was Fear. We talked about this last
Oh, that
time.
was Fear. That was Fear. Okay, I thought that was
Not
Black
in the
Flag.
70s, not in the 90s.
Yeah.
Although I
got-
did see Fear last year in Brooklyn. That was cool.
I did like Fear a lot growing up, so I mean,
Yeah, Fear is.
they're homophobic, but what can you do?
Do you think so?
Yeah, that's why they were getting booed because they were being homophobes. They were saying some
No, I
black
know
shit.
that's what they were saying, but I don't know. We had this conversation a little bit last time, and I think it's always fun and worth having. So, for sake of conversation, my impression with Fear is that they would say anything to any audience that would piss them off.
Oh yeah.
And so they were in San Francisco and saying all that stuff. But
Well, that
they
was
would
the
say the
trend.
opposite thing somewhere else, you know, just so I
Yeah.
get a reaction. So I don't know. Again, and you were saying, well, that could just be a cover. The joke could be a cover for the real thing, and that's also true. Who knows?
Yeah, I think that was just a trend of the time, like being
Right.
as offensive as you could.
They were being homophobic. I don't know if they actually are. That's what I'm saying. They could be. I'm not defending it necessarily.
I think toxic masculinity, and people are gonna boo me. They're gonna be like, "Oh my god, toxic masculinity! You're talking
Talk
about
about toxic
buzzwords."
masculinity.
Yeah, they're gonna be like talking about buzzwords, blah blah blah. But like, yeah, that was definitely a thing.
Oh,
back
this
then.
stream is not in the algorithm anyway, so you can say anything you want at this
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, no, it
We
was a
ruined
fucking
that in the
issue
first
back
hour.
then. It was a fucking issue back then. But I mean, people have said to death what the issues were in homophobia and women's rights and punk, right? And people have listened. I'm more preoccupied on the decolonization of these subcultures and hypocrisies on these subcultures because I'm so tired of the hypocrisies in goth, let me tell you.
Yes, you wanted to talk about this, right? We're leading into
Yeah.
that conversation. Talk about it, because I'm obviously like,
So
I'm a
right.
boring white man. Teach me. And old,
No,
too. I'm old
it's-
now. I'm an old, boring, white, cisgendered man.
I'm just like, right now, goth is going through this, like, going back in the mainstream thing. Okay, I'm gonna leave my Monchichi down. Hold on. But, a lot of people are deciding that they're goth in the year 2022 because of TikTok. Flat out. It's fucking annoying. If you're goth because of TikTok, I hate you. And
That's going viral.
I
Clipping
fucking
that
hate
one
you,
out.
dude. Holy shit. Like, because it's just appearances. It's sheerly on appearances, and that's what annoys me. It's not off the music. It's not off anything else. But they pretend it's off ideology. They pretend it's off politics. They're like, dude, punk is left-leaning. I mean, not punk. Goth is left-leaning. Goth is for these things. Blah, blah, blah. Where the fuck were you during the Vampire Freaks forums?
Right.
You know what I mean? Goth for the longest time.
Yeah, honestly.
Goth for the longest time, at least in the words of like the people within goth at the time, would be like, we're apolitical. We don't believe in politics. We're blah blah blah. You know what I mean?
Cover for being an asshole.
What was that?
Is that a cover for being an asshole?
It is a cover for being an asshole. Being apolitical is inherently political. You're choosing not to be political is a political stance. And it's just like a cop out because it just tells me like you don't care. But they do care. They'll care about things that concern themselves. They just don't want to make a kind of statement on it until it concerns themselves, which is inherently political. But that's aside the point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just the whole thing, like goths, where they're like, we're left-leaning and we're anti-racist and we're anti-homophobic and we're pro-trans people. And it's all these like these new jacks, like these baby bats, right? And then these people, they'll only hop on things off of trends. So then they'll be like, I love Susie Sue. I love Susie and the Banshees. And then you want to say that you're anti-racist. Come
Is
on,
Susie
dude.
racist?
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Really?
They
What
all were,
happened?
dude. So Susie Sue.
So
And I
don't
still
know
like, I got a fucking poster of her right here. I want
Yeah.
people to realize this. You can criticize a lesson for the kids. You can criticize the things that you like and still like it. Okay?
Yeah, that's what we need to learn about the Democratic Party too.
Yes.
Criticize them heavily, but also on the right, criticize yourselves heavily too. Like have it.
Yeah, the right wing,
You know.
kill yourselves. But
Well,
that
yes,
being
yeah.
said, that being said,
But like you should always harshly criticize the things that you love the most.
yes. So the thing with Susie Sue here, okay? I don't think a lot of people understand the context of like what she was at the time and why she was so popular.
Well, I remember she was hanging out with the Sex Pistols on TV
Yeah.
before that. And,
Which is a whole thing in itself. But
right,
like
yeah, we don't Sid Vicious and his cool patches and.
Susie Sue is popular because she was the white girl that wanted to be ethnic. She wanted to be ethnic and she succeeded in doing so because people didn't understand the context of which she was doing it. So, first of all, she's drawing the inner eyeliner thing. When you do your eyeliner in your waterline, that comes from like kajal, which is South Asian. That's also Middle Eastern. That was a thing that ethnic people would do. And then that became popularized around the 80s because people started picking that up. And so she started doing that. And then she started doing like the Egyptian-styled eyeliner, Middle Eastern, South Asian eyeliner, dyeing her hair is all black. She wants to look like a 1920s girl, you know, all decadence and stuff. And then her vocalization style in particular, she took from a Native American singer, St. Marie Buffy in the 60s. And let's talk about this, for instance. This was back then when all of this stuff would get mixed up. So Indian, Native Americans, People mix that shit up, right? She wanted to be ethnic so bad. Her name is Susie Sue.
I guess it is right in front of you, huh?
That's an ethnic slur against people from the Sioux tribe. And I mean, I might be like a little misinformed on that. If it's not the Sioux tribe, it might be something else. Let me know.
But the
I'm not
Susie
saying
part or the Sioux part?
the way that it spelled the whole thing is an ethnic slur. Obviously, it's meant to be offensive, you know, and that was the trend. That's why she wore the swastika. People like to wrongfully get on her ass for the swastika, then they don't get on her ass for everything else. Here's the real kicker.
Well, shouldn't they be on her ass for both things equally?
I mean, I guess so. The thing with the
Or does the
swastika,
swastika not bother you as much?
swastika doesn't really bother me that much because that was a trend at the time. It was done intentionally to be satirical and to be provocative towards people that would be otherwise offended, and to be like, hey, the swastika fucking sucks.
Yeah.
Whatever. It was not smart, but that was the
Right.
trend.
No, I get that. Yeah, that's totally, yeah.
It aged poorly.
I wouldn't defend it, but
Yeah.
I get the intention. It was just a bad execution.
I mean, Waddy from The Exploited did the same thing. Tons of people did it. I'm sure, like, Robert Smith had a photo with Susie with the swastika and everything. So, like, it is what it is. But the real kicker, the reason I say Susie actually is not the progressive left-leaning PC hero that everyone wants to, and everyone and their grandma wants to think that she is because Hong Kong Garden. Remember Hong Kong Garden?
Oh, yeah.
People are always like, oh no, she wrote that because she was trying to be anti-racist towards the racism that was happening to Asian people. However, there is a book documenting her describing Arabs as dirty Arabs in an interview. And she started blaming later on skinheads for the problem at that location called Hong Kong Garden that the song is allegedly about, that was under skinhead attacks. But actually, in truth, before that interview had occurred, in a book, and I wish I could remember what the book was in question, but you can Google this all. It's like easily accessible. She had, her own words said, I don't like going out there because there's a bunch of dirty Arabs. It just seems like she's deflecting and trying to cover up her own actions and use somebody else as like, it's their fault, not my fault. It's their fault. So Susie is, you know, and I think this is true of a lot of artists at that time. I think they all have their problems. Does that mean I have to vehemently hate them? No, dude. I'm sure Susie has redeemed herself and like has realized her actions were shitty, right? But my problem is this, is when the youth try to cult of personality these old artists, and they'll cult of personality these old artists and be like, see, they're so good, they're so progressive back then. No, they weren't. You weren't there. You didn't know them. Stop pretending like you knew them off of these like 2-minute videos that you see on YouTube. You know?
Well, so devil's advocate for the TikToker who doesn't know any better. Isn't it good that at least they are getting into it because they are thinking the right things, even though their idols did not?
They should get into it because they like the music.
Well, sure, but I mean, I could see people getting into it for the fashion, and that's cool too. Like, the fashion is a big part of it, and it's kind of become its own thing.
They can like.
I feel like the fashion is actually cooler than the music these days.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, so like I could see that.
Well, I just think that if people get into it for the fashion, which is kind of actually a problem.
Or at least that's the entry point, you know.
Yeah, I mean that's acceptable if it was the 90s and the 80s.
So
and the 2000s.
how is an acceptable way for the youth to get into goth music if it's not TikTok? Or do you not want youth in goth music? Well, you obviously do because you have an all ages goth party.
Yeah, I want the kids to get into it because they like the music and they want to somehow contribute in some way that isn't just clout chasing, and it just isn't like, look at me, look at me, look at me. You know what I mean?
Isn't that kind of how it starts though, and then they learn about it. Like, I mean, I'm sure I didn't know much about punk when I started playing in a punk band and playing punk shows.
Yeah, but it was a different time. It was a different time. Like, the issue is there's a lot of misconceptions about goth, and there's the commercialization of goth, which has become a problem. So, like you have these brands, Killstar, and then you have what else am I thinking? Like Dolls Kill and all this stuff, and Punk Rave. That's a real one. That's a real bad one. They sell their stuff that you can DIY easily for like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Like if you were to buy like 3 items off of there, it'd be like $400, and that's not what goth is.
Right.
And people mistake goth for actually, I just had this conversation with Audrey, who's about to DJ. The issue today with goth is that a lot of these kids are theater kids, and they feel ostracized from society in some way because they're weird. And so they think, oh, I must be punk, I must be goth, right? And so they get into these things off of aesthetics alone, off of images alone, because they were on Tumblr and they saw these cool pictures of people wearing dark clothes, and they're like, oh man, that's me. And so they get into alt talk. Alt talk, which is the killer.
What's that?
Alt talk was like a thing in 2019, where a bunch of people were like, we're emo, we're alternative. And that's the, alt is like the smaller term for alternative.
Yeah.
And they weren't really subscribed to anything outside of like emo rap. So like stuff like XXXTentacion and stuff like that. It had nothing to do with any of the subcultures that they allegedly tried to be. So then, people are like poser checking them. They're like, dude, what the fuck is this? And then they're like, oh shit, I don't know what I'm doing. So they swing either into the folk punk category or they swing into the goth category. And so now you have these people trying to flex how punk or goth they are, not knowing what the fuck they're talking about. Because they felt challenged that somebody was like, you don't know what you're talking about. And because they don't actually like the music, it's all dress up for them. And because they were only listening to Lemon Demon and Oingo Boingo prior, now they're like, oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, that's what they were listening.
Know who Oingo Boingo is?
They like Oingo Boingo for whatever reason. It's all like internet fandom shit. They're like, I don't know what goth bands I actually like.
They're not goth, but
no, they're not. And so that's why they're like. What were you gonna say?
I guess that's the entry point. Danny Elfman, like Tim Burton, Oingo Boingo.
I guess so. Yeah, I guess that must be.
I mean, he is pretty goth in that. I mean, he did the Batman theme and.
Yeah. I mean, Tim Burton, sure.
He's Jack Skellington.
Yeah, but it's interesting how like they go from that and they're like, oh well, I don't really like goth music. Like, what's my closest entry point? So they go to the dark wave. And that's where they get into like Boy Harsher, they like Ultrasun, they like Molcot Doma, but they won't listen to Alien Sex Fiend. They won't listen to
Is it that they won't, or is that they don't know about it yet?
They know about it.
Okay.
But they're saying it's too hard for them. They don't like.
That's what I'm saying. Where's the intensity? And that's through all the genres. Everything's been watered down right now.
And they all listen to Ghost, which is the big killer. They like all of these people in this new generation. Not really. I like their side project Priest a little bit. I like their, but it's like a personal thing.
Well,
I like Priest because of my friends.
Right. Well, it's not like I wouldn't know if I'd call it a side project because they're like the X members, right? It's totally. Well, I will say this about Ghost: their first album. If you want to get into Ghost, listen to the first 2 albums and ignore everything else for now.
Yeah.
I saw the original lineup when they were playing the Music Hall of Williamsburg.
And they were actually like a band.
And it was just the original band that did the first 2 records before everybody quit and it became a solo project. Now, I still respect Ghost. I think I love the theatricality of it. And I don't know. I haven't been keeping up with the music so much. I know it's gotten a lot more poppy. The first 2 albums are awesome. It was a pure idea, and I'm like surprised that they're so popular now. Like, how did they start playing like arenas? That's insane.
They're just popular off of looks alone. If they have what I call the Kiss
Well, I
effect.
mean, yeah, but Kiss was cool, right? I mean, like
I mean, at least Kiss could kind
in
of
the
play their
'70s, they were fucking cool because nobody was doing that.
Right. So with Ghost, you have a lot of, you know how I said a lot of kids are like into aesthetics because of like
Yeah.
Tumblr and pictures. So they'll see Ghost and they have like this full face of makeup and they mistake that for corpse paint, like the black metal stuff. So a lot of those kids love black metal too,
Well, I
off
have
of
some pictures.
images. So they'll mistake it for that and they'll get into it and they're like, "Oh, I'm so goth, I'm so alternative."
Well, I
and it's
wouldn't
like
call them goth.
they're not goth. It's poser music, but it's like
That's a little harsh. I mean, I don't know.
well, as if the state of right now,
Okay.
yeah,
I mean, I get it. I guess just because I saw Ghost in its original incarnation, it's like
Yeah.
I have a different perspective on it. You know, they were like an underground band when I saw them, you know.
yeah, that makes sense.
And like I think it's more like, well, I'm glad that they took this weird thing and like actually got famous off of it. Maybe the art post fame hasn't been as good. That's arguable, but I respect the project because it was a weird thing that blew up, and I think that's cool. I give him a lot of respect for that.
That's fair, yeah.
And he's very influenced by the Phantom of the Opera musical, and that's also totally my wheelhouse. So, you know.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So going back to musical kids getting into TikTok, Ghost, Phantom of the Opera, we did it. We went back to the beginning.
Yeah, we went back to the beginning. I mean,
With Ghost.
I don't
Thank
know.
you, Ghost. And they did some cool. I have an EP of theirs on vinyl that they did some cool covers. Genesis and Iron Maiden's Phantom of the Opera song, which is cool because it's like an 8-minute metal song.
It's just not for me, you know.
That's fair. That's fair. But I mean, I'm just arguing a little bit on the poser. Maybe it is a little poserish now, but I think that's a good
as of
entry
today,
point for
yeah.
people. You know, like I'd be kind of happy if a kid discovered Ghost and then what's the next thing they find? I don't know, Guar or something.
No, they're not getting into Guar through Ghost. I think
I
after
don't know,
that,
the theatrical bands.
they're getting into like the Smiths, probably.
Oh no! Don't get into the Smiths. Don't do it.
I do like the Smiths though. I do like
I
the
don't really
Smiths.
like. It's fine. Some of the songs
musicality's
are
pretty
good, but oh, Morrissey, what a. Ugh. Anyways,
Yeah.
we don't have to talk about Morrissey. I don't want to talk
Morrissey
about Morrissey.
suck. That's another thing. You can criticize the person. You can still like their music. You can be critical of it though, unless it's shit like Burzum, dude. If you like Burzum, you're just cringe. You're just stupid.
Yeah, Burzum's
It's not even
all
good.
too far. When I have listened to Burzum, I try not to do it through any official channels because I don't want him to make any money off of it.
Yeah,
But you
it's not
gotta
even
like check it out to know what you're gonna like. I don't know. It's interesting, but yeah, what if you are out there wearing Burzum shirts? I agree. I think I saw you post something about this. It's like, dude,
Yeah.
what are you doing? Okay, back to the beginning. Nazis are bad.
Nazis are bad. It's just people
Burzum,
doing it because they
he's
want to
just
be
out there
offensive.
with and you know, and he killed somebody.
Yeah, he's just, I don't know. He's just crazy and people want to be edgy. That's kind of what it comes down to.
It's edgelord bullshit.
It is
Now,
edgelord bullshit.
I could see in the beginning if you got the album, and when did they come out? Like the 80s or early 90s, right?
Yeah, sometime around there.
Yeah, it's like if you back then it was harder to access information, so if you didn't know what he represented and you had the album, fine. But now in 2025, you don't know who Burzum is and what he represents. Like, fuck you, dude.
No, absolutely. And it's just, I don't know. That comes back to the whole thing of like people being hypocrites in their own scene. I know metal went through their whole thing. I'm not a metalhead, and I never claimed to be a metalhead because I kind of subscribed
You don't
back
seem
in
like a metalhead, yeah.
well back when when I was a teenager, it was the whole like you're either a street punk or you're a metalhead, and so
What were like when you were okay? This is an interesting question. What were when you were a kid? What were the metal bands like?
I didn't listen to metal
in that. I know,
much.
but
I
like
mean,
the ones that they would be referencing, either this or that. Like, what are the bands that represent that category at the time?
I don't know,
Slipknot?
man. Like,
Or is it classic like Metallica?
yeah, it was like all the classical stuff, and then like we all. The thing is that we all came together and we all listened to Motorhead at the end of the day. You
Right.
know, we
Yeah.
all listened
Okay.
to Motorhead. We all liked glam to some extent.
Wait. I have to break. Yeah. Keep talking. I gotta find this clip I saw today.
Yeah,
About Lemmy.
love that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, love that
R.I.P.
guy.
Lemmy.
Yeah,
I
no, I
honestly
mean,
never
well,
really got that into Motorhead, but like total respect.
yeah. I mean, I love Motorhead. I've always liked Motorhead. That was something that even I think my dad was into. I
Really?
can't remember off the top of my head.
That's
My
cool.
dad was a very early rock guy.
Wow.
He liked stuff from the 60s because that's what he legitimately grew up with. Because he was born, like, I think 1959.
Mm-hmm.
So he was all into, like, Little Richard, Fats Domino, all that kind of stuff.
That was kind of like the punk rock of its time.
Yes, he loved Elvis. I mean, he just
Mhm.
flat out loved Elvis, and he loved Johnny Cash and stuff like that. So that was like kind of my early exposure. And I think he mentioned that he liked Little Richard. I mean, not Little Richard, Motorhead. But I could be wrong.
Motorhead came way later.
Yeah, I mean, I could be wrong. He was still around for that time, you know?
Right.
Seems
Yeah.
like something he'd be into, knowing him.
Wow. I mean, that's pretty heavy for the time.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace. His death anniversary was on the 1st, so
Okay.
he's on my mind as of late.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to the Rainbow once, but I don't know if I ever saw the statue. Maybe I don't know how I missed it.
Aw.
All right.
Keep reading about people like Donald Trump, you know, and he's got so much money, right?
I
you
love
can't
this
get a
stuff.
smile out of the guy with the crowbar. And I know a lot of millionaires, you know, because there's a lot of millionaires in rock and roll, and the more money they got, the more miserable they are. I don't see the
Yeah, there you
point.
go.
Because they forget about being happy, they just think about money, and that's all they got. And that's a sad thing to have, a pile of money and nothing else. What are you going to do, eat it, sleep with it? What?
You wanna see my bacon torpedo?
1991.
He's so young.
1991.
He looks so young.
And I love how that clip ends with bacon torpedo.
Yeah,
That
no,
just negates everything you just said. It's like, oh no, bacon torpedo.
but he's so right too,
It is,
you
and
know?
it's so strange how true it still is. How many years ago was that? 33 or 4 years ago.
Something like that. He's so
Wow.
right. Yeah, what are you gonna do with all that money?
I saw that today. It came up randomly somewhere. I'm like, oh, that's an interesting clip.
I mean, it's interesting because I mean, my dad, he was a big gambler, and that's something that has always put me off from gambling a little bit. Where it's just like, dude, we would go from like, oh, we have like $17,000 because my dad won $17,000. So like, we have to move because we have no fucking money.
Right.
So,
Oof. Yeah.
like, what are you supposed to do with all that money? Just to spend, really. If you don't know how to save, it's just to spend. And Donald Trump does not know how to save. He knows how to spend and give blood money to people.
Yeah, and I gotta just pay respect to my friend and collaborator on my album. He's the narrator on Quarantine
Yay!
Dream. My friend Cousin P, who has been a past guest on the show, was doged last week, Saturday, about midnight, fired by Doge.
Fired by Doge?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Doge, Elon Musk, government, Doge,
Like-
cut everything. You know,
Oh,
the
the Doge coin.
you know what Doge is, right?
Doge,
We're
like
talking
the
about politics a little bit, right? Like, you know what's happening these days, right? In the past couple weeks.
I mean, I know about all the layoffs that's been going on.
Yeah, that's Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency, aka Doge.
So he's calling that Doge.
Yeah, you didn't know that? Yeah, it's named after the stupid meme coin.
I didn't know he was calling
Yeah,
it
and
that.
he's cutting just thousands and hundreds of thousands of jobs, and my friend's entire agency got cut Saturday
He
about
needs to
midnight.
kill himself.
It's
That
like,
guy needs to
yeah.
kill himself.
So if you're defending all this bad looks, man, like that guy's, there's no more qualified and smart person than my friend Pat, and everyone knows that. Who knows him?
I mean,
And true punk rocker as well.
one of these days, like one of Elon Musk's sons is just gonna like shoot him.
Well, he has a trans kid,
He does.
and
He has a
they've
trans
disowned him.
It's ridiculous. It's fucking ridiculous. You know, am I thinking of Matt Walsh right now?
That's a name that I've heard of.
What's his name from the fucking Daily Wire? There's this guy from the Daily Wire. I think it's Matt Walsh.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yep, you're correct. Yes, I know who this guy is. Yep.
Wait, let me see. Hold on. It might
He
be
did that
somebody
whole
else.
documentary.
No, it's somebody else. It's an associate of Matt
He's a terrible
Walsh.
person too, Matt Walsh.
But so my guilty pleasure is I like watching right wing talking points in YouTubers because I want to see what they're up to so that I
Tell me
understand.
what they're up to. I don't listen to it directly, but I hear it through other sources.
So if I say what I'm going to say, it's going to sound like alien talk. Brett Cooper got fired from the Daily Wire, which has sent the right wing into a spiral because she was the right wing sweetheart and starlet. She looks just like Ben Shapiro to the point where people were like, is Brett Cooper like my sister kind of thing? Like, she was planted there because she looks so youthful, right? And she looks like Ben Shapiro, that she would hook in young men. Because not only does she look like Ben Shapiro,
Wait,
talk
who
like
are we
Ben
talking
Shapiro.
about? What's the name?
Her name is Brett Cooper. Not only does she look like Ben Shapiro and talk like Ben Shapiro, but she's a girl, a young girl. So guys would flock to her, right?
Oh, I see her.
Because she's pretty.
Okay, I see it.
And it's just insane. It's insane. So she got fired. She left because of reasons, and now everybody's like at odds with each other. And nothing makes me happier than when the right wing fights with itself.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of that happening. It's great. It's glorious.
It's great. And so like that happens, and like a lot of the right wing is not in support of Ben Shapiro because they're surprisingly the right wing supports Palestine. They can openly accept that what's happening in Gaza is a genocide.
Really, I don't hear that much on the right wing
You wouldn't think so, right?
or the left wing, to be honest.
Even Candace Owens, she got fired from the Daily Wire.
That was one of her only good takes.
Yeah, she got fired from the Daily Wire because she was like, what's happening is a genocide. And I was like, holy shit, dude. And people support her in that. So there is a demographic of the right wing that's like, this is a genocide. You have to really be the scummiest of the scum to say that it's not a genocide. Like, you have to be like the shit on my boot to say that it is not a genocide. It's crazy.
Yeah, bring Netanyahu here and do what you did to Zelensky to him. I want to hear what we're getting from him for all the money that we've given.
It's just insane. But I mean, even outside of that, like
Did you see that generated video with the bearded women and?
Oh my god, yeah, that Trump posted because he's crazy. I don't even think Trump posted it. I think that was just like somebody in his office.
But he reposted it.
Yeah, he's just fucking insane. He's a puppet. He's just a puppet for whatever plan that they have going on. Because it's crazy that he went from hating Russia to being in favor of Russia. Like, he's a pawn.
Oh yeah, it's. I mean, as terrible as things are, I'm here with my popcorn bucket because every day it's like it gets crazier and crazier, and it's all going to implode at some point. It's going to be glorious.
I wouldn't say it's glorious. It's gonna.
No, not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
By the way, we have 0 watchers right now, so we've alienated everybody. you'll see this on the people will see this on the replay, but like we could say anything we want now.
It's true. Yeah, I mean,
What's your
fuck,
hottest
dude.
take?
My hottest take?
Yeah,
I have a lot of those.
I know. Pick one.
White women are really annoying. Like, really annoying.
Well, that's not that much of a hot take.
it's just like, I would, and people are like, well, you're always around with like white guys all the time, and I'll openly be like, yeah, because white guys aren't trying to lie to me that they're a good person. They're openly like,
They're openly
yeah,
terrible people.
they're openly like about
Hey,
their agenda.
my gender or race.
They're just like openly shitty about who they are, so I can avoid them. You know what I mean? So with white women, it feels like it's a constant game of manipulation. I mean, there were some like recent situations that really pissed me off, where it's like they'll hide behind people of color and they'll be like, I'm an ally, I would never do this thing. And then they do the thing. And then as soon as you call them out on it, you're like, dude, you're being a fucking asshole. They'll be like, oh, well, I'm neurodivergent and I'm actually suffering and
Showing my heart
I'm
to the audience. Yeah.
you know, like I'm being treated, blah 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 blah. And it's like, dude, just accept that you did something shitty and like work, like just communicate with us. You don't need to play Prussian Olympics for this, you know? That's the biggest thing, where it's like when people start playing a Prussian Olympics when you confront them on something, I just like
This
tune
is
out a
like
little bit. It's like
people in
annoying.
your personal life or people like in the,
It's a little bit of both. I mean, people in my personal life have done it throughout history, and then just like in general.
Yeah.
It's just like, come on, man. You can't have like a one-on-one with somebody without having to like victimize yourself. That's the worst. Like when somebody has to victimize themselves in order to have like a confrontation. I don't know.
White people.
It's not even a white people issue. I mean, I've seen other like fellow people of color do it. And I mean, like I've seen like East Asians do it. You know what I mean? Like they think that they get off scot-free for their behavior off of victimization. That's just not how it works. Like you need to just like talk to somebody one-on-one, and if you can equally say like, hey, these bad things are happening to me, at the same time I can see why my behavior is not great. That's all that needs to happen. That is all that needs to happen in a conversation. You just need to be like self-aware and be like, okay, let's work towards that. I don't know.
Go to the Vampire Freaks forum and ask you if you're coming to Dark Force Fest.
What happened?
So I want to go back to the Vampire Freaks forums and ask you if you're coming to Dark Force Fest.
I don't know. I'm in a financial pickle right now. I would love to come. My friend Salim, who is one of our DJs, has offered me like, hey, if you're coming, blah blah blah. But like, I don't know. Like, I need to make sure my finances are in check. I really am not doing too hot financially. So
That's fair. Yeah.
in this economy, hell
I know.
no.
See, I only go because I work there. I don't have to pay for it.
Yeah.
Honestly.
So there you go.
I mean, it's cool. I'm glad that I'm there, but I don't think I'd pay for it.
Hey, if I'm able to get there by working there somehow and like have a room or something, I would go. But as it stands, I don't really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
Maybe
Rose
I
Garden's
can.
playing, aren't they?
I know they are. That's why I want to
And
go.
Jenna Torturers are playing.
I know. That's why I want to go.
That's your favorite band.
I
isn't it?
really want to go to Jenna Torturers. Okay.
I think was my first impression of you, or the first time I met you, was you were on stage with the Jenna Torturers, and I was filming you.
Apparently somebody wanted to kick me out because of me crowd killing at Jenna Torturers.
What did you do?
I was crowd killing at Jenna
What does
Torturers.
that mean?
That's like when you're just like moshing around and like somebody had picked me up and I was kicking people around. That's
I don't remember. I mean, if I saw it, I guess I didn't think much of it because it's just like, yeah, of course.
That definitely happened. And then apparently somebody was really pissed, like, if you don't stop doing this, we're gonna get you out, like blah blah blah. But then we talked to her.
A heavy band.
We talked to her and she was like, you're a real rocker, you know that?
Yeah,
and I'm like,
awesome.
She's with it. She fucks with it, dude. She wants people doing this shit. What the hell? I'm
Yeah,
not gonna
you
listen
want a
to someone.
reaction. You don't like the worst. Oh, it's so weird sometimes. I mean, okay, I'm the guy with the camera, but I'm like the paid professional with a camera. I see so many bands come out, and just the entire front of the stage is just people with their phones, and they're just like,
Oh yeah.
no,
No, I
let
love
me do
dancing.
that, and then you guys like have fun, jump around, and
Especially for a show like that where it's like I know I'm on equal territory with everybody. Like I'm not gonna encounter a 300-pound man trying to kill me.
right, yeah.
Like it's like
Goths are
why the
pretty
fuck?
passive.
Oh yeah, they're really passive to the point where sometimes they're Karen-y,
Mhm.
as we know. But
Mhm.
like it's Genitouchers, man. They want us to rock the fuck out. Like
Yeah, they're a rock band.
I wanna have fun. I wanna have fun.
Yeah, we could just see them again.
Yeah, I really need to see them again. I think they're playing.
They're doing some shows around it, yeah.
Yeah. So like, I want to see them at some point. It's
Aren't they
just a matter.
coming to Buffalo or in that area somewhere?
That's what I'm saying. I think they're coming
Yeah.
around like Canada or like Rochester or something. So I
Yeah,
really
maybe
want
it's
to see it.
Rochester. That's how far is that from you? Like an hour or so?
It's an hour by bus.
Oh yeah,
Or
you
by
should totally go.
Yeah,
If you can't go to Dark Force Fest, you know.
it's just the money and like finding timing because after a while the trains don't come around here. That's the biggest issue with Western New York is that the trains kind of fucking suck.
Would
So
they stop at a certain time? I don't remember.
yeah, like after a while, and it's even worse in like Hamilton, like Canada, that area, because I have a friend up there. Shout out Eben, I love you, Eben. Who I keep showing them like, dude, there's these shows happening, and they have to get a hotel because like after 8 p.m. the trains don't come, the buses don't come.
Yeah.
8 p.m. That's
That's
like an hour into a set.
yeah, that's terrible.
Like, it sucks. Like that's the kind of economy that we're in right now.
Yeah. Well, that's a downer. Anything good happening in the world? What's a positive thing that you can bring us?
A positive thing
Yeah.
is that
I don't have anything in particular in mind. Just man, this is pretty depressing. Down to the public transportation.
I mean, even down to like my personal life, like I think the positive is that we exist and we breathe air. The positive is that people think things will change with time, but it's just a matter of getting to it. And you can't expect grand things like that. Like you have to start slowly and then surely things will happen. And I really think that like despite all the treatment that I've endured and despite all the kind of back talk that I've endured, I've always been pure in my intentions and I've always known like who I am and what I want out of a scene. And I think just that in itself should be positivity, Like I think that can be true for anybody if anybody's like going through that kind of thing where it's like, yeah, like people are gonna shit talk you all the time. If you're doing good for yourself, people are gonna shit talk you. But if you're able to get through that and just like do whatever the fuck you want, it's a positive in itself. I don't see that as a wrong thing.
Have you felt like, I don't know how to word this, more opposition to yourself since like the new regime?
Well,
because there's a lot of attacks coming down.
yes.
It's just like, what are they doing? Who is this?
So as of recent, actually, there was Sam, whose last name I cannot pronounce, Nordquist. I'm not gonna try and pronounce their last name. There was a violent murder in Rochester very recently, and as of a few days ago, there was a double homicide on two integral parts of the Buffalo community. And I've definitely felt
heard about this. Yeah,
I've definitely felt like there is a pressure, and on top of that, there was not the Buffalo. There's the Brooklyn serial killer.
Brooklyn serial killer.
There was a serial killer targeting young men at gay clubs, if I recall correctly. Yes, in Brooklyn. The police are saying that it's not a serial killer because he's been quiet for some time, but either way, those 3 deaths were very impactful. And I definitely think that as of 2025, there's been a lot of pushback. There's been a lot of racism towards Asian people and Indians. And I'm not myself Indian, but, I'm close in proximity to it. So I definitely get heated about that stuff. And that racism is just, I was just talking to Christy about this actually, where it's like, people will see things like food that's not usual to them and experience culture shock, and they think that's an excuse to be racist, and it's just ridiculous. Yeah, Sam Nordquist, who was killed very brutally in Rochester. It's actually insane. People are saying that it's not a hate crime because the people that killed him knew him, but that doesn't really mean anything. You know, just because you know somebody and because they were part of the LGBT community doesn't mean that it's not a hate crime. Either way, I think it's ridiculous. And you know what? I'm just going to openly say it. And I've spoke on it before, you know, in my Instagram story rants, but like,
that's what you're here for.
Yeah, Buffalo. I moved to Buffalo because of an ex-boyfriend, and that relationship did not work out. But even while I was dating this person, I was not what I would say truly supported. I was tolerated, and I don't stand for that. I was really tolerated by these people, openly talking shit about me, openly calling me racial slurs to my face. And if I was to speak on who these people are, they would be in some deep shit. I really think they would be in some deep shit. But it is on my behalf I don't speak on it because I believe in change. And I believe that, okay, do fucking better because you know what you did. You don't take it seriously. When are you going to start taking it seriously? When somebody dies? When somebody is murdered? You know? These people just don't see it because they don't come from that world. They've always come from privilege. They've always come from, like, you know, the white picket fence. They don't know what it's like.
Hey, that's a new video I'm going to have coming soon. White picket fences. It's called White Picket Fences. And
There
it's
you
about
go.
living in suburbia.
That's exactly what it is.
And the flags across the street are, well, it's not a political song, but beyond my white picket fence are flags that you would want to see.
Yeah, and it's just exhausting. Like,
signs.
I think a lot of these people are grown adults and they should know better than to treat people as if they're punishers openly in a public setting, as if we don't fucking know. Because they're in Buffalo, there's nothing really like beef related going on, and so they have to invent problems. And my opinion is if you have to invent problems, face the music, face the consequences, especially if it's me. If you're starting to do shit with me, you're going to hear from me, and you're going to hear from everybody around me. Because that's ridiculous. That's actually ridiculous. Oh, you don't like that I'm too opinionated. You don't like that I'm too loud. You don't like that I'm too boisterous. You don't like the way that I look. You want to say this or that, whatever. You don't know what I'm from. Who are you to say what I'm from? And I think that's a lot of the issue with a lot of these white guys that, you know, come from suburbia. There are some people who are still kind to me after this breakup incident. I went through a situation where I was friends and tolerated by these people, still openly shit talked. And of course I knew even back then. It's not a fucking secret to me. I'm very keen to that kind of stuff.
Because of your personality or because of your identity?
Probably a little bit of both. I was a little too liberal for their liking, even though I don't identify as liberal. They just like decided to antagonize me for whatever reason. And I think a lot of it is insecurity. A lot of it comes from like them wanting, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows what it is?
But is this like you think ramped up in the personally or otherwise in the past, you know, few months?
No, this was like a while back.
Yeah.
But something that still I think about, like the way that was handled, where it's like you break up with somebody and then you have to break up with their whole friend group. I'm not dating your friend group, man. It's ridiculous. We're adults. Like I can still be friends with all y'all. But if that's the case, you know, like what kind of a fucking shitty ass friend group do I want to be a part of, you know? And so I had to go through that journey of like being in this place that I don't even know anybody in and making new friends, which is not unfamiliar to me. I've been through that already, so who cares? But yeah, I just think it's a situation of like these people don't know what it's like to live a life of constant traveling, constant antagonization for how you are, how you behave, how you identify as, all these things. And especially in 2025 Trump's America, I hope they fucking realize how much this shit matters. They think it doesn't matter at all, right? They think it's all just like blah blah blah. Oh, it's like liberal talking points, blah blah blah. But like, it's not fucking funny when somebody dies. It's not funny when they see like real life consequences. So they can be assholes, but we can't be assholes. You see what I'm saying?
Right, back to the beginning.
Yeah.
We did it. Let's go through your Google Drive. I don't even really know what's in
Oh
here.
yeah.
We'll see what's going on here. Because you sent me some stuff as the show was starting.
I tried to send.
I know. I'm just fucking with you. I gotta give you a little shit for it.
I don't know if that stuff said, but let me see if it can. Hold on.
Oh yeah, there's more stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, what's this? Let's talk about your art. How's your art doing?
My art has been doing good. I took
When are you gonna draw me?
Well, you can commission me if you'd like. I need the money.
Well, yeah. How do we commission you? Promote yourself a little bit.
So you can commission me through my Instagrams or through my email, which is raychand@gmail.com. You can find all of that information through my Instagrams. Just DM me being like, hey, I want some work done. Let me know how I can do that, and I'll get back to you. I have a few commissions right now. I do all kinds of work, not just like the weird cutesy anime chibi shit. I can do hyper realism as well. I think there's some stuff in there that I might have linked as well. But I have been trying to work more on my Patreon. We have a little Susie Sue there.
You have a Patreon?
I do have a Patreon, which is the same. It is the same name as my art Instagram, which is RIN Sucks, RINSUX. And you can see all of my work there, along with like, you know, some of the more saucier stuff for 18 plus. But it's all art. I don't do sex work personally.
Right.
But I'm trying to work more so on my comics. Yeah, that's my Patreon.
Yeah.
I post all my concept art there as of right now. I stopped posting.
After this, see what you're up to.
Yeah, hell yeah.
You gotta promote this more. I didn't even know about this, and like I see all the stuff that you post.
I mean, my big crux is I don't like posting. I don't like promoting my art for the sake of money.
Well, I'll do it for you.
You know. Well, thank you. I don't like doing it, but I realize that's how I have to survive, and I had a big talk with John.
It's okay
about
because
this.
it's like part of you, and like you know, like if I could be commissioned to do music or like promote people buying my music on Bandcamp Friday, like I'm gonna do it because it's a piece of me. I don't feel ashamed about that.
Right. And like, I don't know, I'm trying to post more of my comic stuff. So I have a bunch of projects on the side that I've been working on for like about a decade now. Like I have comic books that I've been wanting to write and publish for a while. And it's all stuff that I've been writing for years. Because I actually, before being a visual artist, I wanted to be a novelist. And so there's a lot of projects
you write any
there.
novels?
I mean, they're all turned into comics now. They're all turned into comics.
Is there like how far are you along with any of those things? Is there like scripts, storyboards? Art?
I do have scripts. I do have storyboards. I have a lot of concept art. I think the project that people will see first is called Rock, Paper, Scissors, which is a story that takes place in 1929 America. And I came up with that when I was, I believe I was in middle school when that came to me. And I've been working on that for, I don't even know how long that's been.
What's the story?
So the story is, it is about a group of boys, well, two boys, Richie and Jimmy Brown, who they're trying to travel to Canada. And it's just a road trip, feel-good kind of comic about being a kid when you're at the verge of being a teenager, at a time period when the concept of being a teenager did not exist. So in the 1920s, being a teenager was not a thing. Being a teenager was invented around the 1940s or so. And it's just about like...
How so?
Well, quite literally. I mean, like, you weren't a teenager. Like, the concept of a teenager was not a thing until, like, the late 1930s, the 1940s. when it became a marketable thing.
Hmm.
Otherwise, you were just a child and then you went straight into work. So like child labor laws, things like that. Like I wanted to explore those topics. What was it like? You know, like what was it like to be a child on the verge of being a teenager?
So it's kind of a serious story, or?
I would say so. I mean, it's kind of like a cartoony, like feel good, like Emperor's New Groove, like a road trip story. But then there's these elements of like coming of age and like what does it mean to be coming of age as a teenager in an era when being a teenager did not exist. That was the main focus of it.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Let's go back to your Google Drive.
Yeah.
Let's see what else is in there. Oh, I saw Susie. Did you do this?
I did. It was a painting of Susie Sue that I did.
See, you do love Susie Sue.
Oh god, just because I paint her a few times doesn't mean I love her.
And there's a poster behind you.
Yeah, whatever. That's the first Danceteria flyer I did without any of the logo work and the original colors for it. That's the Romantica flyer without any text.
Gotcha, yeah.
So there's a few flyers in there. That's the flyer with text. That's the Gothabilly Freakout flyer. I actually really love this flyer because I wanted it to look like a comic book spread and like the page is tearing a little bit.
Yeah.
I just think it looks so cute with the comic book style. That's the kind of art style I like the Bruce Timm inspired art. I love that kind of stuff, the pinup stuff. So that was the third installation. That's the fourth installation, and that features the Tim Burton Catwoman on it.
Yeah, Yes, the Michelle Pfeiffer Catwoman has a special place in my heart.
In everybody's heart, I think.
And yeah. See, this is the goth to Oingo Boingo pipeline right here. You did the music for that movie.
I suppose so.
Think
I really
about
like that one. This is the Cybergoth flyer I did without any of the effects or the text. This one was different because I did 3D on this. So the girl in the background, I 3D rendered and then kind of arranged with other 3D objects. So I was like, Cybergoth, why not do a different medium?
Right. So what was the process? So you drew this first and then you brought it into a program to make it 3D, or?
No, I just went straight into the 3D program and then I just arranged it as I saw fit. It was really fun to do, for sure. And that's with like some effects onto it, some overlays. That is a portrait of a friend from Antidote. I still really like that portrait. You know, just goes to show I can do realism.
Yeah, that's like pretty intense. This just looks like a picture with a filter on it.
If you zoom in on like the teeth, you can see all the little details.
Is it working?
Oh yeah, it's working.
How long does it take you to do something like this? Because this is seems pretty intense.
I did that one in 40 minutes.
What?
An
No.
hour. Yeah, I did. I'm a fast artist. If I have to like sit down and like do a painting, especially, paintings are really fast for me. I can get those down pretty fast.
Wow.
I think that was like an hour and 30 if I had to like estimate the long run of it. But knowing me and looking at this.
What medium is this? Is this pen to paper, or is this
No,
digital?
this is digital, but I still treat digital the same as I do pen and paper. I think there's a lot of like stigma towards digital media, but I use this drawing tablet right here, which means I'm still drawing on it like a pen and paper. It's not like I'm getting AI.
Yeah.
I'm not doing any cheap tricks. This is all just my hand.
I think that was the last thing in here.
It might be, yeah.
Let's see if I got anything else in my.
It might be it.
Yeah. Well, I think.
Actually, if you refresh, there might be a zip file for you.
Oh, I gotta find it again. Damn it.
You'd have to extract.
Now it's all just like looking up Matt Walsh. It's gonna fuck up my algorithm. Dead air. Tell me something.
Dead air. Tell you something. I mean,
Yeah, I'm looking for your pictures.
racism and goth. I mean, that's the thing that I've really, there's so much of it, and whether people realize it
Okay,
or
I
not.
mean, now you sent me like 1,000 pictures.
Yeah, those are all from Finn.
Okay,
Finn,
let's see.
love you.
So this is pictures from your party.
Yes, from all the dance terriers, I believe.
All right, let's see it.
I think they're from. I haven't even gotten a chance to look through these. Oh, this is from Goth
really?
Night, which was hosted by Melpire.
And I guess we're gonna get a reaction from you as we go through it.
Yes, for sure.
Let me coordinate. Hey, we got some viewers back. I don't know
Look
if
at
they're
that.
back or they're new, but hello. And
Hello,
feel free
we're
to
looking for Finn's photos.
Yeah.
This is from Goth Night that was hosted by Melpire Bet, or Mel. Great DJ. She did a phenomenal job at this night. That is Grace. That's Solstice. That's actually our bassist for Ruxos.
Oh, nice. Awesome.
Right there. There's Grace.
So what is this venue? Tell me about this venue.
This is Amvets. This is quite literally, I think, an army surplus area. I've never booked from this place. Again, this was Mel booked here. This was separate from Danceteria.
Is this thing? Oh, okay. So that's a different party.
This is separate from Danceteria. I did DJ for this event, but it is separate.
Mm-hmm.
Mel with her glasses. These are some of the kids from the event. They were like all like 16-year-olds here. They all came dressed to the nines and had a great time. It's fantastic.
Yeah, I see that. Wow.
That's Salim.
I'm going quick. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead.
Like there's a lot of pictures in here.
So here's from Danceteria. These are from Danceteria.
Okay.
This
well,
venue.
what's this venue?
This is Area 54, where Amy's plays.
There we go. There's
me.
some pictures of you.
Oh, that's me and
Okay,
Yusuf.
yeah. I recognize this outfit from other pictures. What happened this night?
This was our Cybergoth night.
Because there's like pictures of you falling into a corner or something like that.
Yeah, I was like on the floor. This was for my birthday. It was a Cybergoth night. We had a lot of my friends from New York City come through for this. Fantastic night. I had so much fun. There's me DJing. A rare phenomena. I prefer not to be a DJ, quite honestly. I started Danceteria because of an ex-boyfriend, different ex-boyfriend. And because he wanted to DJ. That's Kami. The one flipping me off. That's Kami, vocalist for Razorface.
Okay, cool.
Also vocalist for Forest Fire. There I am.
Now, what inspired this outfit?
I just wanted to go.
Oh, here's what I'm talking about. Here's the picture. What the hell?
Yes. I was just on the
It
floor.
looks like you fell. Did you fall? Or are you just on the floor?
I was just posing. I was having a diva moment.
And then you have, what do they call these ankle things?
I don't know. I guess the fluffies. I've always called them the fluffies. I forget what they're called. Leg warmers. They're called leg warmers, I think.
Oh.
But oh my god, that's me and Melpire, and it looks so wrong. It looks like she's jerking me off there.
Yeah. Well,
It's
no, I
so
only
funny.
see your. Well, what are you holding? A beer?
It's like one of those silly strings.
Okay, I see
right?
what's happening. Yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my
yeah.
god, it looks
That's the
crazy.
season. Well, good thing we got the late night out here.
It is so funny. Oh my god. And I'm spraying it right into Finn's camera. Oh, it's my friend Bree.
Nice. Lots of
Great.
cool fashion.
Yeah, there was a lot of great stuff from that night.
Oh, I think that's it. Okay, cool.
I think so. I think that was just from the goth night and the cyber night. But the outfit for the cyber night, I went full military style because I was really fed up with I don't know, the government at the state of the time. That was like around the Trump elections, and during my set I played a lot of anti-fascist songs is what I would call it. So I played a lot of specific tracks from industrial. Yeah, like I played a lot of Caustic, and I don't know if you know who Caustic is.
I know the name more than I know the songs.
So
I've
Caustic had.
probably seen them before too.
I mean, he's great. If he's still playing music, hey, if you're still playing music, Caustic, I would love to book for you.
I mean, this could have been like 10 years ago or
It was
so.
a very
Was he
long time
doing stuff 10 years ago? I think I
think
saw him in a really small room.
He was great though, because I mean, he was one of the few EBM and agrotech artists to be like, fascism sucks. Because that's the issue with EBM and agrotech right now, is a lot of them are very pro-Nazi and like they flirt with the Nazi imagery. It's just all
Yeah,
cringy.
when I see an industrial band with military garb, I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
Suspect.
let's talk about Combi Christ for a second, and then
Let's talk about Combi Christ for a second.
what's that other band, FGC 24 or whatever?
Yeah, I've seen them too many times to count. Well,
He'll be on
weren't
stage
you
and he'll be
dancing
hitting
to
this
them?
pose.
Didn't they got you
I
dancing
do
on hardcore?
like
Both bands, and Combi Christ especially. You were going nuts for Combi Christ.
I like their music, but sometimes when they're playing and they're hitting this pose,
Right.
I'm like, what's up with that, buddy?
Yeah.
And I mean FGC, whatever that full band. I have number dyslexia, so I can't even remember the numbers.
FGFC
It's like a
820
fighter plane, I think, or something. But like
I will say though, I've smoked with some of those guys, and I've had good hangs with them, but I don't know their ideology.
I don't know their ideology.
820.
But hey,
I hope
buddy,
they're not, but I don't know. That look kind of makes me suspicious.
I know that he is post 9/11 and that he was like a veteran, I believe. But that doesn't really give me a lot of answers, because he's like, I'm post 9/11 and my music is post 9/11 and the war on terror. And I'm like, okay, but what side of that are you on, buddy?
Right.
Like, are you gonna start saying some ethnic slurs like a certain band that I know? You know?
No, I don't know. Are we skirting around the edges here?
No, I don't give a fuck. They can hear me say it.
Let's hear
Conservative military image, an oi band that has been flirting the lines with a lot of people.
I don't know anything about them.
They have some
Oi.
tracks.
Okay.
They have some tracks. They're oi
We're
music.
going from industrial to oi now.
Yes. So they're an oi band. They've got like a 30-year-old fresh cut in their band, and they're like, I don't know if they're FSU or not, whatever. But people have issues with them because their lead singer is kind of like old school offensive, calls his wife the JAP slur, and then his child a half JAP slur. I just think it's ridiculous. If you're going to be a fucking oi band, you might as well try to show that you're anti-racist. I mean, his idea of anti-racism is like, let's mix them all up. Let's have sex with people, right? That's not how anti-racism works. And then on top of that, he's gone on stage being like, hey, you want to hear the time I've smoked like 5? And he says like an ethnic slur for Arab people. And it's like, dude, come on. You're not helping your image, but whatever. I have no opinion. I think it's stupid. I think it's honestly stupid if you really think you're going to go on stage and call people ethnic slurs and not think about the repercussions of that.
Well, yeah, that's free speech, That's what we were saying in the beginning. It's like, you gotta let people say the stupid shit they're gonna say, because otherwise you don't know who the stupid people are.
That's true. I mean, if they see this, or one of their fans see this and they get pissy, they'd grow up. Like, just grow up. Because honestly, I just think if you're going to be an oi band that spouts anti-racism in this day and age, you better actually spout anti-racism, because we're not in a place where we can be like half-assing it. People just say that so that they can look good and they get some clout from it. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Nobody's actually really about it. And if you're really about it, you better show that you're really about it. And unfortunately, I'm going to say this to all those 30-year-old, those fucking millennials. Fucking an ethnic person does not mean you're anti-racist. That means you're a fetishist. Like, that doesn't mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. Unless you're actually actively anti-racist. I don't care that you fucked a black girl one time. That doesn't mean that you're anti-black. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, that's what we're here for. All right, I have some random images in my slideshow. Let's just do some random commentary here. What are you smoking?
Those
What's
are all
going on here?
cigarettes. Those are all, that was right after the New Year's Eve jump.
Oh,
When I went to
really?
the
This is your
bar.
celebratory smoke?
Yeah,
sesh-
yeah. Holy shit, my friend took that picture. I just got my nails done, so I was feeling really good. And my
You didn't
nails
chip
are
any
all
nails in that pit in that fall?
none. I didn't.
Wow.
I've only recently been chipping them. These are the same nails I jumped with, and I've cut them off now.
Wait, let's see.
I've cut them all off.
Okay. Yeah,
Only
I mean,
got
well, it's
3
been a
nails
couple
left.
months.
Yeah.
You know.
So I don't usually get my nails done. It's not really something I do, but I felt celebratory and I wanted to get some.
Oop.
Ooh.
Got it. I'm playing with my formats here. I need my image back. Okay. I don't know. I took some random pictures recently.
Oh yeah.
You haven't posted much on your Instagram in the past year.
I mean, I post like once a month about,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, the last time we did this was like 8 months ago, I think. So
Yeah.
I was just like, okay? That's a pretty big beer.
So when I go to bars, I usually see if they have the picture, and if they have the picture, I just get the picture for myself. And they'll be like, "How many glasses do you want?" I'm like, "None, it's just for myself."
Yeah.
And before I drink, I always say, "Baby needs his bottle," and that's my bottle. You know, like that's my.
Hey, does that last the whole night or?
I mean, it lasts me for a little bit, and then I have to get another one. But
Another pitcher?
yeah, sometimes
Damn.
another pitcher, or like I'll get a few shots or something. It depends on the mood for the night.
You
But
got intolerance, huh?
kind of, I think.
Man, I can't do that anymore.
I never get hangovers. I have like the Mongolian gene that makes me not get hangovers.
You're so lucky. You would see, I start getting a hangover now, not in the morning, but like before I leave the bar. If I have too much, it's like, 3 drinks is a wild night for me.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah,
that's just me in my room right over there. That's from a goth night that Finn took. We thought it was so funny. And I was just like, I was like, shh.
Well, it's just a really cool perspective shot, you know.
Yeah, it was great fun.
Okay.
Oh, this is from Dominion in Syracuse.
So is this okay? This is a Syracuse party.
Yes.
I think I got a bunch from this because these pictures were just so cool, and it just looks like Hellraiser, but like you got this. What is this? So, is this black metal makeup?
So it was Halloween.
Yeah.
It was like a Halloween party, and my costume for the night was a black metal poser.
Oh.
So like a try hard, like a TikTok black metal kid. That was the.
But you ended up looking cool.
I mean, I guess it works out in the long run, but that was like the costume. Like that was the vibe. Like somebody to be like, "Oh my god, I love mayhem."
Well, like,
blah,
look
blah,
how
blah.
cool these pictures are.
Yeah, no, that photographer is amazing.
Yeah, that's. I mean, so this is more of a vibe of everybody, right?
Yeah, this was everybody at that night. That was great. I mean, there's so many pictures from that
And
night.
then this, of course, I stole this for one of the flyers.
Yeah.
It was the same night, I'm assuming.
That was in front of my friend's car. Yeah, we were like, should we take like these like trashy photos? And we did. I think they came out pretty cute.
I like them. It's aesthetically pleasing.
I like the second one more than I like the first one. I think the first one I like a little too trashy, but it is what it is.
You think the first one's more trashy than the second one?
Yeah, I do somehow.
Okay, that's a perspective. I mean, I like the second one better too, but that's just because
yeah, you know, like the features
and the building is also very like in line, and you know,
right.
If I would get rid of anything, it would be the car.
Oh yeah, the car looks great there too.
I like the black and white, and yeah. Okay, so we saw some.
There's the flyer.
I
Some
had to
art.
grab some of your art. I don't know. I didn't know what was current.
Oh yeah. These are like the more recent pieces. I did some anatomy studies.
Like...
Oh yeah, I plugged that pretty recently. It's a girl biking with my name on it.
Do you have like and this was in your cool. Do you have you have like this logo sort of, but do you have like I don't know, like a mascot?
I do. No, my mascot's like a little monkey that I have.
Oh.
And it kind of looks like this monkey actually. It looks just like
Yeah.
this monkey with like the big cheeks, but it's like half red and half black. Oh, I recently posted that one.
Yeah, what's this? Is this
This
like
was one
the
of my
character? I don't know. See, I don't know anime or anything, so I don't know if this is
No,
original.
yeah, no, it's original. These are characters that I had when I was 16. It was for an RPG like pixel game that I was making called Salmon Run. The girl, her name is Cherry, and the boy there is named Salmon. Cherry is kind of like not the protagonist, but she's like the foreshadowing of the whole story, and Salmon is like the antagonist. It's about space parasites and how they land on Earth and they fall in love with Earth and like complexities around like what does it mean to be a human being? What does it mean to exist on the galaxy
See,
and stuff like that.
this is more my style story. Yeah, like, is this another one that's in development of your works, your comic books?
Actually, this is one that I've kind of like long quit, but I mean,
Oh,
maybe one
really?
day. Yeah, I mean, maybe
Even though
one
this
day.
is a recent work, though, right?
It is. I still like drawing them because the designs and like the world building was so good. I will admit, like I did a very good job with the world building and the structure of these characters. And they're very beloved to me. I've gone through a lot with these characters, but I don't think I will be using them for their said project. The story was called Salmon Run because it was about it was about Cherry who comes down to Earth and she's curious by nature. So she's a space parasite and they eat like all the dying planets and
So
stars, and she
the
goes
cute
down
one
to
is a
Earth.
parasite.
Oh, was that?
The cute one is a space parasite.
They're both parasites.
Oh, okay.
But we'll get into that. So she comes down to Earth and she's like, wow, Earth is amazing. I love it. And she ends up starving herself and dying there and is reborn into like a human girl. And then Salmon takes her place as a space janitor, as it is. And he's eating all the dying planets and the stars. And there's one particular star that's like, if you go down to Earth, you can become king of the galaxy and you can do all this stuff. So he goes down to Earth with like these evil motivations to kill this girl and become king of the galaxy. It's just a very like fun kind of story. It's not too serious, it's just like very fun and fairy tale-esque. I love stories that feel very fairy tale like, and it's called Salmon Run because the process of a salmon run, like in nature, is when salmon run is when salmons go downstream and they're all chasing to reach to the ocean so that they can reproduce and then do it all over again.
I didn't know anything
they're
about
in
it. So yeah, I'm a
yeah.
person, so I don't know anything about fish, man.
No, I mean, I like writing, so like I like thinking about these motifs and stuff. So they go down from a river and then they chase down the stream. They're all like barreling through, and then they go down. Their end goal is to go down to the ocean where they can do it all over again. And so Salmon, his name is Salmon. Their names are based on the first thing that they see on Earth. So when they go down to Earth, Cherry saw a bunch of these like cartoon characters and named herself after that. When Salmon went to Earth, he was by a fish market, and so he named himself after Salmon, the first thing that he saw at a fish market. So for him, it's him barreling through Earth, trying to find this end goal of being the king of Earth or the galaxy, and it's not a real thing because the star lied to him. And it's just a very fairy tale-esque, like, think like the Little Mermaid or something story. I love those kinds of stories. Like, I'm a big fan of Maurice Sendak's writing. So this is some fan art for Unicorn Wars, a fantastic movie, anti-war film. I think everyone should watch that movie. It is an anti-war film. Despite the cute characters, it's a juxtaposition. So it's about these teddy bears who are at war with unicorns. And it's meant to look very cutesy, but it's very gory. Very gory. And so I just made some like funny fan art for it. These are characters from my 1929 story I told you about.
Okay, cool. Gotcha.
It's just a lot of concept art. This is
same.
This is more concept art for that same story, yes. There's a lot of 1920s decadence inspired art. A lot of my art is very inspired by stuff that stemmed from the decadence period, because I think a lot of that stems from Orientalism, and there's a lot of stuff that the goth movement actually is very inspired by. things from the 1890s to the 1920s, all that stuff. I love that stuff. This is just some art studies that I've done.
Just wanted to showcase some of your recent work.
Thank you.
You know, promote yourself.
Mhm.
What's going on?
This is some more artwork, like fan art related stuff, people from bands. This is Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
Definitely. I definitely watched this when I was in college.
Oh yeah, love Aqua Teen Hunger Force. Jersey Pride. Some more
Jersey,
fan
really?
art.
They're from Jersey?
Yeah, the
I guess
whole
the
show
characters.
takes place in Jersey.
I
Yeah,
love that one with Danzig.
just a kid playing guitar.
Okay, that's it for you.
Yeah, that's
So
it.
how about this? Are you good? Like, do you? I figure if we want to like push this week till like about midnight.
I think I might have to wrap it out pretty soon, just because I have some obligations to fulfill.
Okay, so well, how about
But
this? I want to.
Yeah.
I want to premiere a video. It's not long. I have a music video I want to premiere.
Oh, yeah,
That's actually going to go live on my YouTube in like 25 minutes or whatever. No, 15 minutes. Yeah. And then if anyone in the chat has any last minute questions, that's your time to get them in. And we'll close it up and I'll do my little promo stuff for future shows and then we'll close it out. How about that?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right, cool. Let me cue it up. I teased this in the beginning, but then I started playing the wrong version. So let's see if I got the right one this time. Let me just double check here. Yeah, I think that one's it. Oops. And then you could go buy my record on Bandcamp Friday. Yay!
Yay! Buy Kevin's stuff.
To see if I'm still real.
No, this is still. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
I
you.
think I still have the wrong version. What am I doing wrong
Oh
here?
no!
'Cause there's like I added a whole nother person to this video. I don't know where it is. Where did it go? That's crazy, man.
Technical
Alright,
issues, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Well, you know, it's plagued us all night.
That's
okay,
true.
here it is. Here it is. I got it. Sorry. I want to do the right thing here. Okay, how do I do this? Okay. Now we got more money.
I got up today to see if I'm still real. Or was that yesterday? Is this beginning? Is this beginning? Is this beginning or the end? Is this beginning? Is this beginning? Is the beginning of the end? I got up today, or is this a dream? Don't know what's happening. I got up today, actually it's night. I'll go get groceries.
I got up today, take a shit today, then I went back to bed, get up again, back to bed again. I forgot my medicine, everything was fine today, I was sleeping. Do not die,
Alright now, sing it with me.
Oh.
Yay! Go buy the
Yay!
record.
That's so cute. I love the little puppet dancing around.
Yeah, Amani Coppola, my friend Amani Co. Here's my prop. This is her one-hit wonder from the '90s, "Legend of a Cowgirl" on
Oh
vinyl.
wow.
Yeah, I mean, uh, oops, yeah, that's her. But like, when almost 30 years ago, Jesus fucking Christ. She decided to give her contribution to the video as a puppet, and I said, okay, sure. So now she is Mosh Pit the puppet, and if you ever do a collaboration with her, I'm talking to the general audience, and you want her to do a video, expect it to come back as a puppet from now on. So, just okay.
This is so cute. I love them. I love Mosh Pit the puppet. Big
Yeah.
fan.
Yes, that's the takeaway. Okay, there's no questions, so let me just promote what I got coming up. Sunday on the Guar Pod, we have. God damn it! Why is this format being weird? What's going on? There it is. Guar Pod. No. Oh, this is the wrong flyer. It has the wrong time on it.
Uh-oh.
Well, I
Not that
I
one.
made this a couple days ago and then it changed. But to note, 3 p.m. Eastern time. It's earlier than usual. We're going to talk to their drummer for the past 30 something years. So that's a big one. He doesn't do a lot of
That's pretty
interviews.
sick.
Yeah, so check it out if you're a Guar fan or not a Guar fan. It's going to be interesting.
Come on,
And
Guar fans.
then I guess I have next week off, and then I have. Okay, we're going to replace this picture eventually. But Cynthia Von Bueller is a. Do you know anything about Cynthia Von Bueller? Have you heard of her?
It's not coming to mind right now. No.
Yeah. Well, that's why you're the target audience, because people need to know about these people. And she is a long-time musician, and now her thing is like comic books. And I just got one in the mail, and it totally ties into your like 20s aesthetic and stuff. This one's called the Illuminati Ball.
Oh, I know about this.
Yeah, and I have
Oh, okay.
at least one friend of mine
That's
who's
really
a burlesque
cool.
the model for a character in this, which is really cool.
You
I
should
don't
show
know.
art.
I probably can't show most of the art here because it's more adult oriented.
Yeah.
She's also doing these new comic books.
Oh, that's
It's
awesome.
like a girl called Cthulhu and one called the girl who electrified Tesla. And all I
Yes.
got some coming my way to read, but it's gonna be real interesting. Check it out. And then what else do I got? Slim from Thinky Flash is going to come back, ex Green Jelly now. That's how I met her, and I play on her new song Hobby Horse, which will be coming out that day or the next day or something like that. So we're going to celebrate that. And then Big Nazo. Do you know anything about Big Nazo?
Big Nazo. All I know is that they're kind of like that shocky, rocky, like alien. They're not. Oh my god! Didn't they play in Poughkeepsie,
Oh no, I think it's
2022?
an international thing. Like I actually don't know much about it, but I met the guy at a show that I played, and they're like, "Oh, this is Big Nazo." It's like, holy shit, you got to come on my show, dude, because this is just like a
This is
couple of
all the
hundreds
stuff
of
you
characters,
love.
hundreds of characters, and part of it
Yeah.
is a bit. I don't know if they're shock rock. I think actually they do a lot of like stuff with like children's events and just like public spaces. They just kind of go on the street like dress all crazy and stuff. I don't know. That's what I'm here to find out because it's totally fascinating. And I mean, how cool is that?
I guess anything that constitutes like the whole the outfits during performances like constitutes like the shock rock.
I guess,
realm.
yeah. I mean, it definitely ties into it, and we'll find out how far that goes because that's definitely my particular area of interest. I wanted to promote our last show. If you didn't watch it, go watch our last show. It was awesome.
Last one was
And,
great.
we both had places to go, so we had to cut the conversation a little short. That's why we're back today. And I want to say my last show with Jane Jensen was my birthday show. It was really cool. She interviewed me, and she's also on a track on this album. Jane Jensen from Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and
Narrated
Juliet.
narrated by Lemmy from Motorhead. If you've never seen it,
Check it
that is
out.
the punk
That
rock
is pretty cool.
Shakespeare. And of course, my documentary, Life of Slimes of Dookie Fly Swatter and Haunted Garage. I almost have I'm like this close to having a presentable rough cut. So things are progressing rapidly.
That's
I'm
awesome.
talking to distributors and things like that. I can't say anything yet, but Pop Perversion, again, I'm working on it in the background, but go follow it. Rin, you should be one of my singers. We'll talk about that if you're into it.
Yeah, for
I'll send you
sure.
some stuff. I'm refreshing some stuff. I'm working on like 26 songs right now. There's only going to be this many on the album, but I always go big and then I have some leftover stuff for later. Oh, and this is my friend Ray, who's doing a online telethon so she can pay rent, and she's playing ukulele until 6 in the morning every day. And I was watching her before this, and I'll watch her after this. Go check her out. Prismatic Ray Live. I guess it's on TikTok and also Instagram, and that one it's Prismatic _ Ray. And go support totally punk rock, World Inferno, Infernite friend, and we want to artists help artists and DIY and all that stuff, right?
Exactly.
Oh, and if you're in New York, I'll be at the Red Party
Red
Saturday.
Party!
I'm the resident photographer, so I missed the last one due to snow, which sucked because they also had a birthday cake for me and everything, and I totally missed it.
Aww, that's a shame.
But I'll be there on Saturday for sure. And that's all I got.
Woo!
I think we did it. And then plus.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Any last words?
Can't believe my mom joined.
I know. I didn't expect that. That's cool.
I mean, it's nice. I love seeing that she's like involved in my life. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Did she come down on any of your hot takes?
I mean,
Ren, stop jumping on the punk rockers.
She's gonna hate that I'm drinking, and she hates that I'm smoking and all that. She's like super super clean cut. So like all of this is like alien to her.
Know that you drink 40s in your bedroom or.
Oh, she knows. She knows. She doesn't like it.
Right.
I mean, what can I do? My poor mother.
Yeah. Sorry, Mom.
I know. At least she knows I'm not like ruining my fucking life.
Right. Yeah. Looks like you can
be a lot
handle
worse.
Your liquor.
I would say if I can jump 2 stories onto people and still be okay. I didn't throw up that night at all, or that week.
Yeah,
no vomit.
It seems like pure adrenaline.
Pretty much, yeah. I would say so.
All right, I think it. Yeah, okay. Sorry, I did keep you till about midnight, but that's about it. That's it. In 2 minutes, go to Bandcamp Friday, vonesper.bandcamp.com. Buy the record. Go support Science Man and Razor.
Check out the bands that I mentioned:
Yep.
Science Man, Razorface, Forest Fire, Bite Mark. Check out Anasazi. Check out Vaccine. Check out check out Arson. Check out Love and Combat. Like, check out all of these fucking bands, man.
Buy some patches.
Buy some
patches and vinyl.
Buy some vinyl. Buy some music. Do whatever. Go to a show.
Yes, go to a show. I will also be at
events.
Yes, Saturday before Red Party, I'll be at the Manimals. So go check out the Manimals, my friends, the Manimals at Club Cumming. Which, yeah, that's it. That's all I got. All right, bye.
Bye, guys.
Like, share, subscribe.